Hello and welcome to Jackie Robinson Memorial of the Rose Bowl in the beautiful city of Pasadena, California, where tonight we have a beautiful 75-degree and sunny Tuesday evening for some CCL baseball between the visiting Santa Barbara Foresters and your home Arroyo Seco Saints. Good evening, everybody. My name is Riley Horn, joined alongside my broadcast partner, Sid Iyer. And for tonight, it's going to be the Foresters taking on the Saints. Foresters going through that starting lineup. It's going to be Maddox Mandino batting leadoff in center field. Sawyer Farr, the shortstop, batting second. Easton Mumaw, the third baseman, batting third. Four spot, Brenton Clark, the left fielder. Fifth, it's Terrence Kill, the second in right field. Caleb Hoover, the first baseman, bats sixth. Easton Ruley, the second baseman, batting seventh. Grant Madrid Murray, the catcher, batting eighth, and wrapping it out in the 9 spot. It's the designated hitter, Brady Dollamore, facing off against the Saints pitcher. It's Liam Thatcher out of Glendale Community College. Thatcher at Glendale last year. 16 appearances, 7 starts for a 5-2 record with 2 saves. He pitched 52 2/3 innings with a 4.27 ERA, a 1.46 WHIP, and 48 strikeouts. Squaring off now against Maddox Mandino, who approaches the plate. First pitch, officially a 6-19. Ball outside. Next one in there for a strike. Foresters currently 3-0 on this CCL season so far. The Saints 2-1. Last night with a dominant win over the Philippines. 1-1 pitch, fouled out of play. One-two pitch from Liam Thatcher, chopped to short. It's Enright who fields and fires but overthrows first base. And Maddox Mandino reaches on air to be the first batter for the Foresters. That was Enright at short. Over to his right at third base, it's Jacob Freer. Second base, it's Lopez. First base, Levi Medella. The backstop for tonight, J.J. Kennett. And in the outfield, going left to right, Gannon Snyder, Noah Williams, and Joey Milto. Starting 9 for the Saints. Now, second batter for the Foresters, it's going to be the shortstop, Sawyer Farr. Swings through the first offering. On one pitch, runner on the move, check swing, throw down to second. In time, but Enright unable to handle it. Throw might have checked off the runner in Maddox Mandino. But a great throw from the backstop, J.J. Kennett. A couple nights ago, he raced 3 runners from the base paths. A couple of caught stealings, 2 down to second, 1 over at third. Baylor University backstop doing great things so far for the Saints this season. 1-1 pitch. Fouled high and out of play. Thatcher checks back, delivers the 1-2. Just misses the low inside corner. A couple nights ago, Foresters took on the Orange County Riptide on opening night ended up taking that game 4-0. Last Saturday, they took on the Conejo Oaks, beat them 14-5. And then the Academy Barons beat them 21-7. And looking to get the best of the Saints here to keep that undefeated record. Next offering, again, popped out of play. Saints, on the other hand, started things off opening night against the San Diego Waves. Would drop that one 12-9. Then taking on the Academy Barons on Saturday. Took that one by a dominant 8-1 victory. And then the Philippines just a few nights ago on Sunday, and very dominantly took that one 17-4 final score. This one down in the dirt, gets away from Kennett. Mandino moves up 90 feet over to third base. Now a lot of ways for Farr to score Mandino. Brings in a lot of extra opportunities with nobody out and a runner 90 feet away. But in a full count as well. Farr definitely willing to take a walk. Full count delivery from Thatcher. Swung on and missed. Strike three, a big first strikeout by Liam Thatcher. He's now put one out on the inning, but still great opportunities for the Foresters to score this first run and get ahead early. Now Easton Muma, the third baseman for the Foresters, stepping up. First pitch, down at the knees, but just below him for ball one. One-0, fouled straight back, makes it 1-1.
And he was right on that fastball. I mean, fastball right down the middle. And you know a hitter's on it when he hits it right back.
You know, I am now joined by my broadcast partner in Sid Ayers. Sid, I think we can talk about it on here and wish you a big congratulations. You are the radio voice for the UCLA Bruins. They are on the road to Omaha, and you will be joining them out there to call some games.
It will be very exciting. Going to be taking a nice little red-eye flight into Omaha. And, hey, just pumped to see the Bruins make a run for it. I mean, they hosted the regionals, followed by the super regionals, and it's been a fun ride. Excited to see it continue in Omaha.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Unfortunately, no UCLA Bruins here in our matchup tonight as the 2-1 once again fouled back off the screen. This time evens up the count at 2-2.
That's kind of what it's all about, though, right? Summer baseball, but certainly the conclusion of a season and postseason baseball, you can't beat it.
College baseball playoffs, man, there's really nothing like it. 2-2 delivery from Thatcher. Once again, Muma stays alive, fouls this one back off. Muma really been all over Thatcher so far. Seen 3 pitches in the zone and fouled all 3 of them back. Still runner 90 feet away in Maddox Mandino. 2-2, just misses the outer edge, brings it full.
That's a good pitch on 2-2. Try to get that outside corner, but he's got some natural tail on that fastball. Just barely off the plate there, but a little bit up.
Muma so far on the season, he's got 2 RBIs, but hitting 8 for 13 so far. Full count, lined over to short. Enright's right there on it. He'll make a snap throw over to third, but Mandino retreats quickly. Good base running to freeze on the line drive and get back. And a big second out for Liam Thatcher.
Yeah, I mean, just a great play there at short. And, I mean, that's that defense you want to see early in a game. Keeps that runner at third.
Good defensive positioning and a good barrel there by Muma, just unfortunately right where the defense was. So now it's Brenton Clark, the left fielder for the Foresters. First pitch swung through for strike one. Now Clark squares to bunt, but then pulls back. Count even at 1-1, 2 outs. Delivers. Line drive down the left field line, but tailing foul and out of play. Thatcher gets ahead, 1-2. Big payoff pitch upcoming here. Mandino on third, reached on error and able to get all the way around to 90 feet away. The 1-2. This one pop fly into left field. Snyder coming in on it, but it drops in front of him for a base hit. Brenton Clark, a 2-out RBI single to get the Foresters ahead early.
And hey, it's not the prettiest single, but hey, an RBI is an RBI, and he just got it over that third baseman, Freer, who was playing pretty deep down the line, and just like that, you'll take a 1-0 lead if you're the Foresters.
Absolutely, and in that count as well, 2 strikes behind you, really just trying to do whatever you can to put a ball in play, put the pressure on defense, but you definitely take a single. So Maddox Mandino reaches on error, comes around to score. First pitch now to Terrence Kill the second, misses outside. Thatcher delivers, once again goes to outside. Kennett tries to back pick over at first. Going back in standing was Clark, and he's safe.
I mean, killing the box, he's an interesting player. Was at Texas A&M as a freshman this past year. Had a pretty good season, right around 300 with that batting average, about 26 RBIs, but 12 stolen bases.
2-0, misses way low and outside, brings it to 3-0. Not a spot Thatcher wants to be in now. Way behind on Kill. Count, runner on the move, throw down to second, and in time to erase Brenton Clark from the base paths. J.J. Kennett helps out his pitcher Liam Thatcher by getting the third out of the inning, but Foresters get ahead early and go up 1-0 on the Saints. Here we go, heading to the bottom of the first right after this break.
Coming in this game, he has a 400 on-base percentage. Going to get up with the 2 hits he has. He lines one.
That one's belted to right field, and that one is gone. How about Josh Livingston getting things started here for the Saints? He ropes a home run right over the right field. Jake Brown looking up. That one is gone. An opposite field home run. Alex Burge.
First Pickles, then Oppo Tacos. How about that for Alex Burge? Hit the home run to right. He was like, nah. I'm going to hit one to left now. How about a 3-run blast for the backstop?
Booms that one to right field. Matthew Thomas will just have to look back. That one is gone. Welcome to the game, Colton Dahl. Jacob Shart with a 3-run home run, the second 3-run home run of the game, and the lead continues to balloon. It's 9-1.
I mean, off the bat.
Hello and welcome back to the Arroyo Seco Saints pregame show. I'm Ethan Inman.
And I'm Dylan Gonzalez. We're the journalism interns. The Saints are back from their 3-day break where some of the players took part in the CCL showcase over at the MLB Academy in Compton. The Saints are returning here at Jackie Robinson Field at Brookside Park to face the same team they played before the break, the Academy Barons, where they won 7-3. They were trailing for most of the game, even though they had a great performance from Danny Bellows with 5 shutout innings. They were on the verge of suffering their first 3-game losing streak of the season, but a big 5-run 8th inning put the Saints ahead, and they didn't look back from there.
Yeah, absolutely. CCL All-Star Jacob Sharp had the big hit in that 5-run inning with the 2-run single, and the Saints were able to pull that one out. And it was a big one because they've lost a couple of games in a row to the Barons, and they were both close ones. I know that Milan wanted both of them, but to get that win was huge heading into a break, where they can relax and know that they ended on a good note and know that they were facing the same team that they just beat.
Foresters got ahead by 1 in the top of the first. Now into the bottom of the first. Saints looking to try and get that one back. To do so, it's Eli Lopez leading off, followed by Trotter Enright, then Joey Milto rounding out the 3 due up. Facing off against Bryce Navarre, the freshman out of the University of Texas. First pitch down in the dirt.
Yeah, Navarre, 6'1", 210. He's a freshman out of Montgomery, Texas, and didn't throw a ton of innings last year, but, hey, that's what summer ball is all about. Get your reps, get better.
Second one down in the dirt. Gets behind of Lopez, 2-0. And you're right, not a whole lot of innings. Only 6 2/3 innings pitched on the year for Texas. (2-0) to Lopez. Breaker misses inside.
And hey, he's also he's playing for Texas, obviously number 2 team in the country, and they had an early exit here during the postseason. It's pretty widely expected that they would host a super regional, but they ended up finding themselves out of it pretty quickly.
Navarre issues a 4-pitch walk to Lopez. And yeah, Texas a pretty early exit, and now all the Texas players being shipped out to summer ball. And just found out from one of my friends who plays for the Foresters that Texas guys just really got in today. And so now the opportunity arises for them to get their reps in at summer ball. But a 4-pitch walk issued by Navarre to Lopez brings up Trotter Enright, the Saints shortstop. First pitch to him down below the knees, ball 1. Lopez so far on the season, 5 for 12, 3 RBIs to his name. Second pitch, breaker in there for a strike. Navarre finally getting back into the zone.
Yeah, pretty early you're seeing him use that curveball. That one on the inside part of the plate. He's going to need to work those 2 pitches to be successful.
1-1 pitch. Goes back to that breaker. This one low and outside. So far now this inning, 7 pitches thrown by Navarre, 7 of which missing outside the zone, which kind of makes that 8 walk number that shows up on his stat line from last season at Texas kind of stand out. 2-1 pitch to Enright, way inside, makes it 3-1.
And for Enright in the batter's box, he had a pretty solid start to the summer season. In that last game against the Philippines baseball group, he went 4 for 5, had a double and 3 runs scored.
Now faces a 3-1 count against Bryce Navarre. Kicks and delivers, goes back to that slider in there for strike 2 and loads up the count.
And I think at the very least, look, these Saints hitters are working the count. Yeah, a full count here, and Eli Lopez also taking 4 pitches for a walk.
Full count delivery, breaker lined right back up the middle. Trotter Enright with a beautiful single right back where it came from, puts 2 on, still with nobody out. Now 3-hole hitter Joey Milto.
Yeah, I mean, just a good approach in the batter's box rather by Enright. Took yet another breaking ball that was ended up being a bit of a hanger at the middle of the plate, kind of at the letters. Took it right up the middle. That's all you got to do. So now the Saints, they've got that runner in scoring position in Eli Lopez. He's got good speed, and now the heart of the order coming up.
And you mentioned that heart of the order. It's Joey Milto. A couple nights ago on Sunday against the Philippines baseball group, man, you mentioned Enright's day, but Milto, 4 for 5, 4 runs scored with 6 RBIs to go along with it. Helped account for 10 of those total runs. 10 of 17 put up by the Saints a couple nights ago. First pitch, back to the breaker for Navarre and misses outside. Navarre delivers, catches the inside corner for strike 1 against Milto.
I mean, that last pitch, Madrid Murray behind the plate was set up on the outside part of the corner, or of the plate rather, but that one, that natural tail, he's got a maybe mid-3/4 release, comes back into the zone towards the lefty hitter.
One delivery, slider. Milto tried to go the other way with it, but just a tad bit late and fouls it out of play. Brings it to a 1-2 count. First time so far today that Bryce Navarre has been ahead of a Saints batter. Issued a 4-pitch walk to Eli Lopez, who is standing on second. Then a full count single by Trotter Enright. Now the 1-2 goes inside. Milto tried to wear it. Couldn't quite get all the way in there. Brings it back to even at 2-2.
And you referenced him trying to almost wear that pitch this past season at Bellarmine U. He had 13 hit by pitches, which that was nearly 10 more than the year before.
You know, Sid, you mentioned a little earlier the Saints being patient in the box. Saw a 4-pitch walk, a full count, now 2-2 count. It's been a theme all season. Saints being very patient, looking for theirs. Bluffed by the runners, but Enright got a little miscommunicated. Gets Strand out in between first and second. Now Lopez takes off for third. Throw across, secured. Lopez going back to second. He'll dive in safely. Throwback for Enright at first. Now we are caught in a double pickle. Forster's not sure where to go with it. They're going to try and get Lopez out at second. He's going to try and duck under it. He does. And now it's a full circus out there on the diamond. Lopez eventually gives up, and he's going to run out of the base paths. Very entertaining baseball right there. And it'll erase Lopez from the base paths. Enright ends up on second.
I mean, what just happened, honestly? I mean, I know we're in summer baseball, but what, a double steal, or at least at first base, Trotter Enright took off for second, but then Lopez stuck at second, and I'm surprised it took that long for the whole pickle to conclude.
Yeah, you know, there's normally a rule that baseball coaches have with pickles, and it depends on the coach, but normally it's 3 or less throws. That's kind of the golden number that I've always kind of seen, as Joey Milto swings and misses at the breaker from Navarre for out number 2. Normally, it's 3 is about the highest number that coaches will allow for that pickle. That one probably up into the double digits.
I mean, you got to cue the Benny Hill Show theme at that point. But they do have a chance here still with, I mean, look, it's 2 outs, but they do have Enright here still in scoring position and a chance to drive him in.
It's J.J. Kennett now, the backstop for the Saints, up at the dish. With 2 outs, runner on second. First pitch from Navarre. Looked like a changeup. Dropped back in there for a strike. You know, I think what happened there is Lopez went for a bluff steal out on second. Enright might have saw that out of the corner of his eye, but didn't see Lopez put the brakes on, so Enright put his head down and kept going. and eventually looked up and realized that he was stranded out in no man's land. 0-1 misses down in the dirt. Good stop by the backstop in Madrid Murray to prevent Trotter Enright from moving up an extra 90. One and one delivery. Breaker, tapped foul. 1-2 now.
Yeah, it's a good pitch. It's one that ends up right down the middle of the plate and kind of veers in, especially with that lefty on the mound. And especially like, look, if you're Kennett in the box, you see a big hole in the 3-4 hole. You want to take it the other way, but a pitch like that, it's hard to do.
Now Navarre ahead once again. Fell behind the first two, now ahead of the next two. 1-1, grounded, just foul of third base.
Yeah, and he's sticking with that breaking ball there. Had a good swing and miss there on that previous pitch. Thought he'd go back to it one more time, and now look, it's a 1-2 count, and you've got that ability now to go back to that fastball up, maybe change the eye level, or hey, stick with that curveball in the dirt.
And you mentioned a little earlier, Sid, really favoring that curveball, and he absolutely has been. Navarre really using the soft stuff. As he delivers the 1-2. Goes to a fastball and gets the called strike 3 down at the knees. Good work there by Navarre. Gets back-to-back strikeouts to get him out of the bottom of the first. Forsters still ahead 1-0 as we head to the top of the second.
My name is Tyler Gordon.
My name is Adrian Lopez, and this is Rippin' Dex with the Saints.
I have Spencer Torkelson from the Tigers. He went to ASU.
I got 2009 most valuable players. American League is at Joe Mauer, and National League Albert Pujols.
I got Lawrence Butler, rookie card actually from the Athletics.
I got Walker Buehler, sign card. That's pretty sick. I'm a big Dodgers fan, so that's pretty cool.
I got Rafael Devers from the Red Sox. Fun fact, when I went to Fenway like 5 years ago, he threw me a ball.
I got Jacob Lopez, pitcher from the Rays. Last name's Lopez. Might be related, might not.
I got Matt McClain on the Reds. He's from Orange County, just like me.
This is the Diamondbacks catcher, Gabriel Moreno.
Tanner Beebe, the Guardians pitcher.
I got an outfielder, Robbie Grossman from the Rangers.
Pretty good pitcher, Brady Singer on the Royals.
I got a catcher from the Pirates, Jason DeLay.
Isaac Paredes on the Rays, infielder.
I got Francisco Mejia, a catcher from the Rays.
And then my last card is Justin Steele on the Cubs. He threw a complete game today against the Angels.
I got Chris Bassett from the Blue Jays. Pretty cool little deck.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Big fan of that Walker Buehler one.
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
After an interesting first frame from here in Pasadena, we head to the top of the second. Leading off, it's going to be the right fielder, Terrence Kill, the second. First baseman, Caleb Hoover, Easton Ruley, the second baseman. Those three are due up for the Foresters. Up once again against Liam Thatcher, and we mentioned a half inning ago, Bryce Navarre really favoring that off-speed. Thatcher, on the other hand, has been all on the heater.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, just that split, especially from a starter. And look, that fastball is between 85 and 88, so he's not going to blow you away. So it's interesting that he's sticking with that fastball.
First one, again with that fastball. Terrence Kill, the second, swings right through it. First frame for Thatcher, it was 26 pitches thrown, 26 fastballs. As the 0-1 again with the fastball, and Kill fouling that one off, getting closer on it, but not all the way.
And that fastball back in that same range, 85 to 86.
0-2. Finally goes to a breaker. This one misses low outside. Makes it 1-2, but a good 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, it was a very good one. I mean, that almost had like sweeper movement to your point. Really darted fully off the plate into the lefty batter's box.
1-2. Thatcher delivers. Goes to the fastball and gets a called strike 3. First strikeout and first out of the inning.
That's a good way to start the inning, especially considering how that previous inning ended with a bit of a kerfuffle there on the mound. But, I mean, hey, that's a good way to get the second inning started. A strikeout looking on a pretty good hitter.
Now it's Caleb Hoover, the first baseman for the Foresters. First pitch, swung on and missed, again with that fastball. Oh, 1 delivery. Fouled straight back, makes it 0-2.
And at least early on, of course, we referenced how he's only thrown 1 off-speed pitch so far, but definitely likes to use that fastball to get ahead, and I think that natural tail definitely helps, especially when he gets it on that low outside corner.
0-2 now. Thatcher way ahead of Hoover. This one down in the dirt. Brings it to a 1-2 count. Thatcher now 2 batters in a row, getting ahead 0-2, and kind of using that 0-2 waste pitch. Last one against Kill, a great one. Went for that outside sweeper that starts in the zone but then breaks out this time. With the 1-2, he tries to go to the fastball low inside, can't quite get it in there, evens it up at 2-2.
Yeah, this is a good hitter at the plate. Hoover attends Grayson County College, and that's in the North Texas Junior College Athletic Conference. He led his team with 16 home runs this past year.
2-2, chopped just foul over towards the Foresters' dugout.
Yeah, I mean, when you're hitting double-digit home runs at the college level, you certainly got some pop in that bat, especially considering, look, it was just his freshman year, and he's a big kid, 6'3", 215 pounds.
So far this year, just 2 for 13 in the summer. This one, a high drive into right center field, and that one is way out of here and right on cue. Caleb Hoover, a solo shot to put the Foresters up 2-0.
I mean, you talk about just a beautiful swing off the bat. I mean, just immediately, the moment he made contact with that, look, the launch angle was pretty supreme, but even he just like, watched that one fly, and it hit off that net there above that California Collegiate League sign here at Jackie Robinson Field. That's a way to continue to get on the board. So it's 2-0 Foresters.
I want a no-doubt blast out of here. 392 feet into right center, which doesn't seem like a lot, but here at Jackie Robinson Memorial Field, dead center's only just about 370. It's the first pitch now to Easton Ruley, the second baseman, dots him on the helmet.
It looked like it got him right in the bill of that helmet, and luckily didn't hit him square in the face. And it looks like the trainer here for the Santa Barbara Foresters, along with the trainer for the Arroyo Seco Saints, coming out to take a look at him to make sure that he's okay, and he does appear to be a little bit shaken up. Throws that helmet off to the side. And look, you hate to see any player get hurt like that, but I think, look, the silver lining is it didn't hit him, I guess, flush on the face.
Right, it didn't get him flush, but on his walk down to first base, he was definitely, putting a hand up in his mouth area, checking to see if there was blood or anything of the sorts. Maybe, hopefully, like you mentioned, didn't get him too flush, so hopefully he will be okay. It doesn't really matter what kind of pitch nor the velocity. If it gets you up in that face area, it is more than scary and more than dangerous as well. Just hoping everything is okay for Ruley.
Yeah, and then in the meantime here, obviously, I mean, like, look, if you're on the mound, if you're Thatcher, kind of cruising there, at least through the first couple of batters, certainly you got an out in this inning. Obviously, a 2-0 lead that, you're behind, but I think the key here for Thatcher is just to stay in the game and not let that kind of affect you. Look, you've got a job to do when you get out there on the mound. And we're still kind of pausing here to see what the Foresters are going to do. Now, after that hit by pitch, Rulli went back to the dugout, so we currently don't have any view of him, and it does appear that his teammates and trainers are checking in on him in the dugout. But in terms of what's going on the field, it's pretty quiet out there. I mean, look, the Saints are justifiably just trying to understand what's going on as one of the Saints coach went out to talk to our home plate umpire here for this evening, try and figure out the story.
Yeah, and that's an interesting note to make, the fact that the umpire went all the way out to the mound, then one of the Saints coaches going out there and meeting him there, having a quick discussion out there as well. Rulli still in the dugout. Again, not much of a view that we have. Can't quite see if he's okay or not. Obviously, we hope he is.
So I guess in the meantime, of course, if you're Thatcher, you want to stay loose, and so he's just throwing on some warm-up pitches here. And I guess in the meantime, while we kind of wait on that, let's talk a little bit about sort of the weather and the vibe here at the stadium and how the ball is carrying. Of course, that home run we just saw by Caleb Hoover to right center field was actually against the breeze. Currently, at the moment, it's pretty calm, but we've got a slight breeze to left field. So for right-handed hitters, obviously that's an advantage. And even weather-wise, look, at first pitch, it was up to 76 degrees, but as we get later into the night and these shadows start creeping over the stadium, definitely going to get colder.
Yeah, now it dropped to around 72. Still definitely warm enough to have that carry and have that, extra distance that it could add on the ball. But that is a good note to make on the wind. And, especially sort of as you get higher up into the atmosphere, that wind becomes a little bit stronger and heavier. Goes to show really the power of Hoover to really get that one out of here. I mean, that one was a blast. And, now in summer ball, obviously, weather's hotter always. And so, you get a little bit of extra lift and carry on your balls. But you also have to note the wood bats that the batters are using. In college, you're allowed those metal bats. But in summer, it's kind of forced to be that wood. And, again, you get that extra lift because of the atmosphere. But you get a little bit of, a debuff with the wood.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a totally different feel, too. And in some ways, look, looks like we're hearing some chatter here from the first base umpire, trying to possibly understand if Rulli is okay. He's still in the dugout.
And, I'm going to cut you off, Sid, and I hate to stop you on that thought, but it looks like our first base umpire just ejected somebody from the Foresters' dugout. And now it looks like the Foresters' coach is going to come out and have a discussion with him. We are unaware of who he ejected, but it looks like he threw somebody out and potentially maybe somebody jawing at the other team.
And it does appear that it possibly could actually be a player.
And it looks like it's number 31, Zeke Adderley, the freshman out of Maryland Eastern Shore. He just walked out of the dugout and towards the stands, and it looks like he might have been the one ejected here from this ball game.
And the intrigue continues, honestly. I mean, we've had a pretty significant pause here in play. I mean, it's been at least 5 minutes since anything has happened, and Rulli is still not out of the dugout. As it appears here that right after Adderley's ejection, the head coach for the Foresters went to go talk to the first base umpire, now chatting with the home plate umpire, rather. And you have to wonder what's kind of going on here. I mean, look, obviously you don't like to see a hitter hit by a pitch, but given it's early in this game, I mean, you hate to imagine that there's any intent to it, which I don't really think there is. It's, college summer baseball. But now, I don't know, the mystery continues.
Right, we are unaware. We don't have the capabilities, to hear or find out really what's happening on the field as of right now. But you mentioned that, Rulli's still in the dugout. He has not come out since he got struck in the face, which really started this whole pause on the field. But it's also interesting now that there hasn't been a pinch runner really come out to first base either. And as I say that, it looks like somebody is making his way back onto the field. and I think that is Easton Ruley. Looks like a number 9 jersey out there. So it looks like he is okay, and he's back out on the field. He will stay in this game.
And look, you hate to see him get hurt, but glad to see him try and make good use of the situation and stick it out, and hopefully he's okay. And at least from a game perspective, having him back in the lineup and on the base paths for the Foresters is a good thing, because when he was at Central Arizona College this year, he had 22 stolen bases. So a lot of wheels on the base paths, and certainly we'll see if that is the case here today, just given that he got shaken up pretty good. But definitely nice for them to have him out there.
Yeah, and likely why we never saw a pinch runner come out. They didn't want to, make that sort of substitution early. They wanted to make sure he can stay on the base paths and be that weapon out there, use his speed to the Foresters' advantage. Saints have brought a warm-up ball out onto the infield as well. The infielders getting some throwing work in. We're still at a pause here. The umpire is still continuing to have a conversation with the Foresters coach. Ruley is back out on the field. Saints still warming up. It'll be Grant Madrid Murray due up for the Foresters. And we will take a quick break from here in Pasadena as we get things figured out. We'll be right back.
Showcase earlier this week.
Currently riding a 6-game hit streak as that one sent up the middle. Gordon will fling that one on to second. Sheehan O'Connor on to first. Double play, and Spencer C.
Both are the highest marks of the team.
Burge sends that one into center field. Kemmerer looking back on it, and it's gone! Oppo Taco, Alex Burge, have yourself a last 48 hours. Saints grab the lead early, it's 2-0.
And Burge, Jacob Sharp took the home run lead for the Saints last night, and Alex Burge was like, no, I want that.
Around 8 strikeouts in his last 4 games, chops that one towards the second baseman. What a play by Sheehan O'Connor, flings that one on to
All right, we are back. Action continues from here at Jackie Robinson at Memorial Field. It's the backstop, Grant Madrid Murray up in the dish. You'll see the first one down below the knees. And good to see Easton Ruley back out on first base. Just an at-bat ago, which was a handful of minutes ago. We had a long pause out on the field, but Ruley got hit up in the helmet face area. And it looks to be like he's okay. He's back out there running. 1-0 pitch in there to Madrid Murray for a called strike 1.
And immediately you see Ruley kind of jumping around there at first base. We referenced before the break how he had 22 stolen bases this past collegiate season. So he's definitely a threat to run here.
One's across the board. 1-1 count, 1 out. Second pitch. Excuse me, check swing from Grant Madrid. Ball catches a piece of the bat, fouls it back. 1-2 now. And, after a pause like that, Sid, you used to be a pitcher up there on the mound, and after a long pause, you still get your warm-up pitches, but it's got to set you off a little bit of a groove. But Thatcher able to get back in there, and as now ahead 1-2. Ruley goes, ball's outside, throw down from Kennett, gets into center field. Ruley's going to take off for third. Throw in from Williams, not in time. Easton Ruley advances up to third base on the stolen base.
I mean, just good heads-up base running. Hey, they think that he's shaken up, and that's exactly when he steals and makes good use of the situation. And a pretty solid throw by Kennett behind the plate, but quick 90 feet there, and yet another opportunity for a run. But I think, to your point, it is tough, though, with the break on the mound to get back into the game.
Infield comes in for the 2-2. Just misses on the outer edge. Brings it now to a full count with 1 out. And that's exactly likely why the Foresters took so long to send out a pinch runner or to resume play, because they wanted Ruley on those base paths for those stolen bases for that exact reason. Now just 90 feet away, Liam Thatcher issues a walk to Madrid Murray and puts runners on the corners.
And look, I mean, at this point, Thatcher has hit a batter. Now that batter's at third, that runner rather, in Easton Ruley, and then a walk right after that. So a little bit of control issues here early on, and he has to get a ground ball here. So middle infield playing in, at least towards second to get the double play.
First pitch, grounder through the 5-6 hole. That will score Ruley. and Advance Madrid Murray up to second. The 9-hole hitter in Brady Dallimore knocks an RBI single, puts the Foresters up 3-0.
Just a good piece of hitting. And to our earlier point about how the middle infield, that's Tanner Enright at shortstop, was playing towards the middle of the field. That ball just hit in that 5-6 hole. Easy single, hard hit ball on the ground, and that's another run.
And with the way Jacob Freer and Trotter Enright were placed defensively, whether they were in, whether they were back, that one likely would have gotten through no matter what. Good piece of hitting and perfectly placed there by Dallimore. Kicks it back up to the top of the order in Maddox Mandino, who takes the called strike one. Mandino in his first at-bat today reached on error, came around to score, and he swings straight through the 0-1, brings it to 0-2.
Yeah, Mandino trying to get his reps here in summer baseball. Actually a two-way player. Was a pitcher this past season, and of course a hitter at the University of Louisiana Lafayette.
Now in an 0-2 count, chokes up on the bat just about an inch or so. The 0-2 pitch from Thatcher runs high and outside, brings it 1-2 with one out. Still two runners aboard and one in scoring position. Good opportunity for the Foresters to increase their lead. Saints, on the other hand, potentially just a ground ball away. That ground ball happens, goes to third, gobbled up, steps on third, throws across to first, but not in time. It's Jacob Freer making that play in a great pick out of Levi Medella over at first to handle that throw and prevent it from getting out potentially into foul territory and allowing Dallimore to come all the way around to third or maybe even score.
Yeah, good play, heads up, and to your point, even better stop there at first by Medella just to keep that ball in the infield, especially in an inning where they've already put a two-spot on.
So a fielder's choice in the book. Brings up the two-hole hitter, Sawyer Farr. Goes down with a called strike one. Now Jacob Freer over at second. He was playing in on the grass. Didn't have a whole lot of time to react from that shot off the bat of Mandino. Ended up gobbling it up. It dropped to his feet. He would step on third, try to go to first for that double play. Couldn't quite get it. A little bit of a low throw. Likely wouldn't have been in time either way. But Medella with a great stop over there at first to prevent extra bases. Now Sawyer Farr in an 0-2 count with two outs. Liam Thatcher way ahead. He kicks and delivers. It's going to run high above the letters, ball one.
Try to get him there with that high fastball, but three straight. Trying to get him to chase here, especially with two outs. You want to induce weak contact, especially with how the infield's playing right now. That's Eli Lopez at second base. He's pulled over to the right side for the pull.
Force outs everywhere for the Saints. The 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike three. But the Foresters once again increasing their lead. Strike for two here in the second. Go ahead 3-0 as we head to the home half right after this break.
Adam Beck, Evan Davis here with Adrian Lopez, the Saints infielder, now at USC, and we're here to see what's in his bag.
Yeah, for sure. Let's check it out. Got a couple things. Sorry if it's a little smelly. I'm not sure. First off, I got my glove. A Wilson. Kind of goes with the USC colors, so that's pretty cool.
There you go.
Yeah, nice.
Got to get the drip going now, so peak batting gloves. Big time. Shout out Josh. We did trade-off, so batting gloves for batting gloves, and these are pretty sick.
What did you give him instead?
I had some Long Beach State batting gloves, and we just traded, and we're like, what's one thing we can remember each other with? And we're like, oh, these are pretty cool. So now, every time I go to bat, get to think of Josh, and, it helps me get hit. Then you got to go, like, accessories. So I got leg guard. Shout out Saints. I mean, kind of lost my leg guard, and they gave me this one, so that's pretty huge. Then they got the elbow guard too. It's a little guy, but it's all right. Does the job.
Nice.
Got the helmet, C-flap, big time.
Super important.
Yeah.
Don't want anything going up there.
So that's the one thing I'm scared of most. Nike cleats, huge.
Oh.
And then this is actually like one of my favorite things. Like this sliding mitt from like a brand called Goated brand. Like this is like pretty dope.
Oh.
Yeah. Plus 10 aura right there.
Easily,
yeah, no.
Easily, come on.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Got this water bottle too.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Well, it's hot.
Oh,
It's
no
scorching.
snacks though.
No, I'm see, like I try to have snacks, but they're usually gone by like the pregame, so I'm like,
Who steals them? Or is it just you?
Saints chasing 3 here in the bottom of the second. It's Jacob Freer, Jack Little, and Gannon Snyder due up for the Saints, looking to get a couple of those runs back as Bryce Navarre remains on the mound. The soon-to-be incoming sophomore at Texas goes to that breaker that he has been favoring and gets it for a called strike 1. Oh and 1 delivery. Again, going to that breaker. This time low and outside and gets away from the backstop in Madrid Murray. But no damage with no one on. 1-1.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pitch. I mean, look, a lot of lateral movement. He was pretty good in his high school career. He had a 1.2 ERA as a senior at Montgomery High School in Montgomery, Texas.
Once again, to that breaker. This is outside, though, 2-1. You know, many times, obviously, there's, you know, exceptions in guys like Aroldis Chapman, but in those lefty pitchers, you normally see a lot of soft stuff, and, you know, the velo isn't necessarily as high as it can get for the righties, and most of the time you see them favor sort of that off-speed usage. And Navarre today been doing just that as he evens up the count against Freer 2-2. Delivery. Slider swung on and missed. Navarre goes to the slider once again, and this time gets the strikeout.
I mean, hey, just sticking with what works. If you've got that breaking ball working, just keep going to it. They're going to keep swinging at it, and they've been missing it. So far on the mound, look, Bryce Navarre has been really showing up so far. That's already 3 Ks.
First pitch misses outside to the designated hitter, Jack Little. And you mentioned those 3 Ks. Saints, not really hitters who go down by the K all too often. We mentioned earlier, they're very patient hitters, and they normally end up a lot of times drawing walks or other times finding that one pitch they want to hit. But Jack Little staying patient and gets way ahead 2-0. Navarre kicks, delivers in there for strike 1.
That's a good way to get back into the zone on a pretty good hitter. Now, Jack Little goes to Baylor University. He's from Katy, Texas. He had a pretty good season as a redshirt sophomore for them this past season.
This one down in the dirt, ahead 3-1 now.
And to reference kind of why, I mean, he had 6 home runs this past year, and that was 4th best on Baylor's, well, their roster. And also, he's got some wheels too, 6 stolen bases. That was also 3rd on the team.
Guy who can really do it all in Jack Little, and he's been having a really strong season so far for the Saints. 7 for 13 on the season with 6 RBIs. 3-1, catches the line of the knees, brings it to a countdown on the scoreboard. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out.
And you know this summer season is definitely important for him because, look, his sophomore year, he actually didn't play due to injury. So to come back, have a pretty solid season, then make even more progress here in the summer, that's what you want to do.
Navarre, long hold on the mound. Little will call time, take a step out. He digs back in. Navarre now comes set. Kicks and delivers the payoff pitch. This one fouled back by Little.
Just extending that at-bat. Look, full count. You just got to bite at anything close to the zone, and he certainly knows how to do that. I mean, baseball's in his family. His father, Mark, was a former professional player, and he had a 5-year stint in the big leagues.
Payoff pitch once again. This one misses outside to Little. Once again, kind of goes back to that patience that we've seen so far today and really all season for the Saints. Being able to work that full count, then you get a pitch that, you know, you can't really get your A swing off, so you go to a B or a C swing, foul it back, spoil it off, but then you see one outside the zone, you get yourself a free 90 feet. Left fielder now for the Saints, it's Gannon Snyder. First pitch to him. Breaker above the zone, kicks away from Madrid Murray, and Little's on the move. Great read by by Little to see that ball pop out of the glove of Madrid Murray and move up 90 feet.
Yeah, and you hate to have that happen to you as a catcher behind the plate, but we referenced how Little has great speed. So now with a runner in scoring position, look, the Saints are just trying to get a run on the board.
1-0 count to Gannon Snyder. Pitch gonna be outside, gets Snyder ahead 2-0. Snyder getting the nod tonight in left field. A couple nights ago on Sunday, he got the night off. On Saturday, started at first base, and on opening day on Friday, started at right field, really showing off that utility, working both corners of the outfield and corners of the infield, as he gets way ahead now, 3-0. Snyder, a guy playing 4 positions. And you know, the old adage goes, if you hit, you play. So it's really valuable to be able to have those that defensive versatility to get your own stick into the lineup. But he'll draw a 4-pitch walk, bring up Levi Medella, the first baseman.
And I mean, hey, if you're on the mound now in Bryce Navarre, it does set up the force out at any base. But with 2 outs, again, you're facing the bottom of this order. But again, we've talked about earlier in the broadcast how the Saints have had a pretty significant offensive force here the past couple of games.
Yeah, putting up 9 runs on opening night. They would end up dropping that game, but then 8 in a win and 17 in a win on Sunday. They've been producing offensively all season long throughout the first 3 games. First pitch now to Medella down in the dirt. Now 5 straight balls issued by Navarre. You know, to your point, Sid, you have that open base when you had Snyder up, and now you are allowed to use it because it does bring in that double play.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, look, again, if you're Navarre on the mound, you just want to get that ground ball to get out of this.
1-0, catches the low outside corner, strike 1.
Now, Medella himself, he actually attends Shorter University in Rome, Georgia. He's actually a transfer from Hawaii, and that's where he grew up. 6'1", 215 pounds. Had a pretty solid season for the Hawks.
1-1, 1 out. Down in the dirt, but Madrid Murray able to knock it down, keep it in front.
And to kind of elaborate on the fact that we've talked about, this offense has had pretty good production early this season against the Philippines baseball group just a couple of days ago. Look, Medella went 2 for 5 with an RBI, along with 2 hits in that first game against the San Diego Waves.
Two and 1 to Medella. Breaker chopped over to first. He'll go to second with it. 1-6, back over to 1. And he stays on the base to get the double play. Great work by Hoover there to go over to short, retreat back to the base, and secure the second out of the double play and the 3rd out of the inning. Foresters still ahead 3-0 as we head to the 3rd inning.
Adam Beck, Evan Davis here with Joey Craig, Saints outfielder, and we're going to do a little what's in his bag segment here. So Joey, what's in your bag?
Well, first off, let's talk about the bag itself. This is a sick bag that Arroyo Seco gave me. As soon as I got here, they gave me a bunch of gear too and all that good stuff. But let's crack this thing open. What's the temperature looking like today? Probably like 95.
Yeah.
So, I mean, starting it off, a little core hydration. You know, got to stay hydrated out here in the California heat. Got a little snack at the gas station before, a little pickup. These are just the basic little essentials. Then we got, obviously, helmet, getting us right. And then going to deeper in the bag, we got the Evo Shield elbow guard, keeping us safe from hit by pitches and stuff. Don't want to be crying on the way down the first base, all that good stuff. And then when we do finally get on base, we got the Marucci sliding mitt. So keep our hands safe, all
The
that
little
good
oven
stuff.
glove.
Yep,
Yeah, the
little oven mitt.
Do
Yep.
you take stuff out of the oven with it too, or just?
You know, I got
for
my own.
baseball?
I got a special one at home for that, so I'm good on that stuff. And then got a bunch of different batting gloves in here. Never know when they're going to get too sweaty or run out of grip, or you're going to slide in the base and they're done for. But preferably, I like the Franklin, the power straps with the extra long one right here, a little extra wrist support, all that good.
Saints heading into the top of the third, go to the bullpen. We've seen this a couple times. Pitchers normally with an inning count around that 2 number. And they go to it to end Liam Thatcher's day, but in for relief, Chris Hernandez-Vides out of Azusa Pacific University.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, 6'1", 190. Went to Cal State San Bernardino, so he's a California native out of Hesperia, California. And look, this past year for the Cougars, had a 12.79 ERA, but I think the main thing to call out is he's only thrown 6 innings or so, but he's walked 10 batters. So that control is something that he's definitely going to be working on this summer.
Yeah, no doubt about that. A lot of pitchers normally always looking to work on those control issues if they have them. First pitch, down in the dirt to Easton Muma, the third baseman for the Foresters tonight. This one down in the dirt gets Muma ahead 2-0.
Now Muma himself, look, he's a native of Texas. Yet another one that we've seen in this game so far, and had a pretty good season last year for the Texas Rio Grande Valley Vaqueros. Hit .330.
2-0, catches the high outside corner, brings it to 2-1.
And meanwhile, for Hernandez-Vides on the mound, he's got kind of a herky-jerky type of motion. It can make it tough to kind of see it out of the pitcher's hand.
Muma fouls the 2-1 back, brings it to 2-2.
And really peppering the zone with that fastball. I don't think we've seen any off-speed just yet, but that fastball, he's really painting it in there with some pretty good speed.
2-2. Grounder right back up the middle. Enright Fields throws quickly and in time to get Easton Muma out at first.
That was a really good show of range there at short by Tanner Enright. Went all the way behind the bag at second base, and that ball wasn't hit particularly hard by Muma off the bat, but it stayed low, and he was able to stick with it and get the out at first.
Yeah, good location there for that ground ball when Muma was looking for a hit, just not the exit velocity he was looking for. Caught that one just a little bit off the end of the bat. Now, first pitch runs inside of Brenton Clark, the left fielder. So far tonight, Clark already 1 for 1 on the season before tonight, 5 for 12. As the next offering from Hernandez-Vides misses above the letters, 2-0. Pitch, back in the zone, called strike 1.
Really painting that inside part of the plate on that fastball. Good sound off the leather there behind the plate from Kinnett, the catcher for the Saints.
2-1. Clark squares to bunt, but pulls back. Hernandez-Vides again going to that inner half and misses. And, you know, in that lefty-lefty matchup, you know, it's almost a game plan and a strategy to work to the inner half of left-handed batters. Try and get it in off their hands and induce that weak contact. 3-1 pitch. Drops down below the knees, ball 4.
That was a pretty close pitch there. He tried to get that inside part of the plate again, exactly to your point. He didn't get the call there on that good frame there behind the plate by Kinnett. Home plate umpire didn't give it to him, so another runner on first, but does set up the double play.
Yeah, and to your point, mentioned it was a close miss, and Brenton Clark had to wait an extra half beat to make sure it was ball 4. He's over on first and jabs on the delivery from the southpaw in Hernandez Vides to Terrence Kill II, the right fielder tonight for the Foresters, who goes ahead 1-0. This time, Hernandez Vides checks back over on Clark.
Just trying to keep him close here with 1 out, and with Kill at the plate, who we talked about during his last at-bat. Played 54 games for A&M this past year.
This one lined to short and unable to handle it was Enright. That one a rocket off the bat of Terrence Keel. Gets by Enright and into left field. Now 2 runners aboard with 1 out.
I mean, that ball was smoked off the bat. Had a little bit of topspin as it got to Tanner Enright, the shortstop for the Saints. And I think just like that, I mean, we referenced how, well, Kill hit nearly 300 for A&M, which is a national powerhouse of a team. So already coming in a pretty complete player this summer, trying to get even better this summer.
That one 98 off the bat of Keel. A rocket to Enright's backhand that he couldn't come up with. First pitch now to Caleb Hoover, who's already launched a monster home run here tonight, but he fouls the first offering back.
Yeah, that home run coming on a 2-2 count where he just turned on a ball, and look, that launch angle was, let's just say it was a moonshot.
Oh, 1 pitch. Kennett pump fake down to first, but doesn't pull the trigger. Pitch does catch the knee line for strike 1. One and one count, 1 out. Delivery. This one swung on and fouled out of play towards our Rose Bowl. Brings it to a 1-2 count.
Yeah, not afraid to work the count back to 2 strikes. And again, that home run, as we were talking about, was on a 2-strike count. And also not afraid to work the walk. At Grayson County College this past year, he had 38 walks.
Trotter Enright holding on second, retreats back. Delivery and a check swing from Caleb Hoover gets him down, going around. Hernandez Vides, a great breaking ball on that outer side of the plate to get Hoover to go around.
Yeah, and he started that one at the thighs, and that moving across the plate, and it ended up pretty significantly off the plate. And a 3/4 swing there, couldn't quite hold it back, and that's a big second out for the Saints.
Now Easton Ruley steps up. Last time he was up, took one off the face area. Luckily, I think it got enough of the helmet. It didn't take him out of this game, but still enough to apply some injury. He swings through the first offering with a big hack, but swings straight through it, brings it 0-1.
I mean, that was a huge swing. He was trying to send that one to the hills.
And maybe a little aggression, letting out some aggro from taking the first one off the face. This one, again, a little bit of a more controlled swing this time, but still underneath it, brings it 0-2.
Yeah, for Ruley, he's also pretty close to home. He grew up in Newberry Park and currently going to school in Central Arizona, but have to imagine he's happy to be closer to home.
0-2, 2 outs. Hernandez Vides tries to go outside, can't quite get it there.
Kind of referencing these couple of swings that we've seen from Ruley. It's first of all, nice to see that he seems to be all right after that hit by pitch, but those are some pretty meaty cuts from a 5'10" hitter.
1-2 now. Runners bluff and fouled straight back at us. And Ruley staying alive.
Now, if the net wasn't there, you think he would have caught that?
Not likely with my bare hands, but I think, you reacted pretty quickly towards it. I think you had a shot at it.
I had that glove hand ready. Just need the glove, which I've got right there behind us.
1-2, runners on the move this time, but won't matter. A swing and a miss for strike 3. Foresters with some traffic on the base paths, but can't bring any across. Their first scoreless frame so far today. Saints trailing 3, heading into the bottom of the 3rd right after this quick break.
Oh! Get out.
on, Nick. Go safe, dude. Get out ball. That ball's going ball. Yeah. Leave us. Yeah. Hell yeah, Joey! Lay up for it. TG, sit down. No, it's kind of shitty. Yeah, I know. That's the best part. Adrian.
Adam Beck, Evan Davis here with Joey Craig, Saints outfielder, and we're going to do a little what's in his bag segment here. So Joey, what's in your bag?
Well, first off, let's talk about the bag itself. This is a sick bag that Arroyo Seco gave me. As soon as I got here, they gave me a bunch of gear too and all that good stuff. But let's crack this thing open. What's the temperature looking like today? Probably like 95.
Yeah.
So, I mean, starting it off, a little core hydration. You know, got to stay hydrated out here in the California heat. Got a little snack at the gas station before, a little pickup. These are just the basic little essentials. Then we got, obviously, helmet, getting us right. And then going to deeper in the bag, we got the Evo Shield elbow guard, keeping us safe from hit by pitches and stuff. Don't want to be crying on the way down the first base. All that good.
Saints trailing 3. Bryce Navarre still on the mound for the Foresters. Due up for the Saints. It's the 9-hole hitter and the second leadoff man in Noah Williams, then up to Eli Lopez and Trotter Enright. Navarre comes set, delivers that first one, and it's going to catch Williams off the toe/leg area, and he's going to be awarded first base.
And look, that's a way to get a runner on nice and quick. Free pass is a free pass, but kind of one thing I wanted to mention about Noah Williams, he's had kind of a non-traditional path here. He actually played minor league baseball before he ended up playing in college, and you mentioned you talked to his parent about that.
Yeah, I had a bit of a conversation with Williams' dad the other day. You know, Williams at a Redondo Union High School where he got drafted from, very local to where I live back at home. As the first pitch now to Eli Lopez catches the outside edge for strike one. But I had a conversation with his dad, and I brought up, you know, our localness, and he mentioned how Williams, you know, had a stint in the minor leagues, and then he thought he was going to go independent as he's now on the move, ball's in the dirt, and he's going to have a stolen base. And he had the stint in the minor leagues. They thought he was going to go play independent ball, but then they found a loophole to get him to play in the NCAA.
Wow. I mean, hey, there's multiple paths to college baseball, and that's a very non-traditional one to say the least.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Now, at the Colorado State University of Pueblo, where he's been doing good work out there, and now coming over to Pasadena for summer ball. He's having a strong season so far. A couple nights ago, launched the first home run of the Saints season. 100 miles an hour, almost 400 feet to left. As now the 2-1 to Lopez misses high and outside. Now brings it to a 3-1 count. Williams also showing off that speed a couple pitches ago, able to steal a bag, put himself into scoring position. (3-1) delivery from Navarre. Gonna be down in the dirt. Williams is gonna go either way. Diving in safely at third base. A great read at the ball in dirt. And then Eli Lopez standing in the right-handed batter's box kind of blocked the view of Madrid Murray. He had no idea Williams was on the move.
I mean, just heads up base running. Good eye at the plate. And I mean, look, that ball was in the dirt. It looked like a fastball, actually, that hit the dirt. Madrid Murray did a good job of holding that one, you know, right at his feet, but just quick reflexes there, and certainly quick base running skills there to move to third base on that from Noah Williams.
So now with the Saints trailing 3, kind of as good of a start as you can have to a offensive inning. Runners on the corners, nobody out. 2-hole hitter, and Trotter Enright now steps up. Lopez on first, good speed, might see a first and third play here. He's on the move, ball's in the dirt, and skips just a couple feet behind Madrid Murray. Now puts 2 runners in scoring position.
Yeah, it's a perfect place for Trotter Enright to hopefully get them right back into this game. And I mean, look, 2 sitting ducks out there, a 1-0 count. And he's been a bit effectively wild on the mound, so I'd just keep taking until he throws you a strike.
1-0. Breaker misses outside. And right ahead 2-0. Good opportunity now. Hitters count. A lot of ball field to play with. Defense relatively straight up. Third baseman in. 2-0. Misses just inside. Now 3-0. And like you mentioned, Sid, to your point, take until you get a strike. Now on a 3-0 count. That takes signs most definitely to be on.
Absolutely. And I mean, take that one pitch, and hey, if not, bases loaded with no outs is a good place to be.
And bases loaded, nobody out is where they're going to be. And a great opportunity now for Joey Milto, who is in the 3-hole spot tonight.
And look, heart of the order coming up. Milto, as you mentioned, the heart of the order. He's actually their 3-hitter, and look, he's a big kid, 6'1", 210 from Greenwood, Indiana. And he's got some power in that bat. This past season at Bellarmine U for the Knights, he hit 5 home runs in 150 at-bats.
And Milto started Friday night's game in the 4 spot. Not much offense production from him that night. Then Saturday night, he got the off night. A couple nights ago on Sunday, had a stellar night. I mentioned this earlier in the broadcast, but a 4-for-5 night with 4 runs scored and 6 RBIs, as well as a walk to go along with it. On base 5 times in one night, scoring 4 of those 5 times and knocking in 6 of his teammates to help the Saints in that 17-4 victory over the Philippines baseball group. This is the guy the Saints want up in this spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly during the regular season at Bellarmine also showed that, hey, he's willing to be patient, especially if it means getting the run in. He was actually tied at Bellarmine for walks. He had nearly 40 walks and was also ranked 9th in hit by pitches this past season.
And you know, one thing we did see in that game against the Philippines baseball group is a couple of bases loaded walks that got some runs in. Now that opportunity is in place here. Joey Milto, bases loaded, nobody out, facing off against Bryce Navarre, the Santa Barbara Foresters pitcher. Foresters up 3-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd. First pitch, breaker, catches the outer edge for strike 1.
That's a big first pitch. I mean, get in with that breaking ball. It gives you the opportunity here to continue with that off speed.
0-1. He does go back to that off speed. This one lower and more outside. Brings it even at 1-1. Backstop Madrid Murray definitely set up towards that outer edge on that pitch. So Navarre, you know, hit his spot, maybe not in the most ideal location, but likely going for a swing and miss on that last pitch. He will go right back to it, but it misses. And a snapback throw to try and get Williams over at 3rd, but Mound, the Foresters' 3rd baseman, not in position on the bag.
Yeah, I think just by seeing those 3 breaking balls, it's pretty evident that they want to stay soft to him, try and get him to roll over on something.
2-1, checks his swing, but a called strike nonetheless, 2-2.
And back to the fastball there on the inside part of the plate. You referenced how, especially with the lefty-on-lefty matchup, getting that fastball on the inside part of the plate, tying up hitters on the inside, it's a good way to good place to be.
2-2, breaker and a good one. Gets Milto to swing over the top of it. A big strikeout in a big spot for Bryce Navarre.
Yeah, and he went back to that off speed, and that was just textbook on the mound, going lateral, lateral, left, right, and he was inside with that fastball that challenged him with that slider on the outside part of the plate, was able to get the K.
Now it's the 4-hole hitter, J.J. Kennett. He checks his swing and did not go around. First breaker misses low below the knees. That is a big strikeout for Navarre, getting the 3-hole hitter who's coming off of an incredible day just a few days ago. Getting that strikeout, no offensive production. Bases still loaded, 1 out. Ball in the dirt, it's going to skip away. Williams is on the move, flip in, but nobody home. Williams, again, great base running, and he scores the first run for the Saints.
And that ball just got enough away from the catcher behind the plate. That's Madrid Murray, to where, hey, that was just aggressive base running by Noah Williams, and we saw that earlier in the inning. Him just getting to third base alone was proof of that. So now two more sitting ducks here and a chance to tie this game up.
And also it takes away that double play ball with no runner on first. So now a ground ball on the infield, likely to score a run and only sacrificing 1 out instead of potentially 2.
Yeah, an outfield playing kind of moderate, slightly shallow, in fact.
Down in the dirt again. Lopez not going to bite like Williams did. And going back to that one, Williams a great read, seeing that ball kind of skip behind Madrid Murray. And Navarre, at least from his point of view on the mound, likely didn't think that one was away enough and didn't think Williams was going to go. And a little bit late to the plate as well. Madrid Murray really no play back there to try and get Williams. But now a walk issued to J.J. Kennett once again loads the bases.
And I mean, hey, it was not a great count to be in if you're on the mound. As looks like we're going to see a quick mound visit here. And it looks like the Foresters are going to head to the pen. And look, I think to consider how this outing went for Bryce Navarre on the mound, I think there's certainly things that you can improve on. Look, he walked a couple of batters in this inning, 2 in fact. One, Eli Lopez, and second was J.J. Kennett as he exits the mound here. But in total, actually had, I believe it was 4 walks on the day, right? So just considering that, trying to improve next time.
Yeah, good first 2 frames. That ends with a sour third. Foresters will go to the pen, and we will go to a quick break from here in Pasadena. Bryce Navarre exits the game, but still responsible for 3 runners aboard. Full count, 1 out, and thrown immediately into the fire. As the 6'4", 186-pound right-hander for the Foresters, Andrew Gardino. His first pitch runs way high and at the eye level of the third baseman, Jacob Freer.
And look at ACU last year. Gardino did throw a ton of innings, around 16 innings pitched. Did have 5 walks, but over a strikeout an inning.
One-0. Swung on and missed by Freer. That one. Strong fastball on the outer edge.
And it looks like he's getting into the low 90s here. Good velocity. That last pitch up to 91.
1-1 count, 1 out. Bases still juiced. Comes to the plate. Breaker breaks just back onto the top edge of the zone. Jacob Freer, at least from his body language, disagreeing with that call, but ultimately goes behind 1-2.
Yeah, it was a close pitch, a little bit up, but a great put-away pitch there by Gardino.
One, 2 count, 1 out. Quick timeout called by Freer. Take a second, catch his breath. First baseman Hoover in, middle infield back, Mumau about even with the third base bag. As the 1-2 pitch is delivered and misses way outside.
Sticking with that trend of going inside, outside. Last pitch well off the plate, but the one before that kind of near his chest.
Two. Breaker fouled back by Freer. You know, to your point, Sid, definitely working that inside-outside that time. Definitely tried to go for that back foot slider. Not only that, kind of working high and low as well. The last strike we saw a breaker at the top of the zone that got down in there. This one, a breaker towards the bottom of the zone. Tried to go for the back foot of Freer, but Freer able to stay alive. Do the 2-2 again. Breaker once again and fouled back and out of play.
That one headed all the way to the Rose Bowl. Bit of a battle here that is brewing. 2-2 count. And to kind of set the stage one more time, it is bases loaded with just 1 out. So a ground ball does get Gardino out of the inning, but that would be a big ground ball to get.
2-2. Fastball this time and fouled off in the same spot as the last one. We'll do the 2-2 once more. You know, we mentioned weather just a little bit ago. Sun now pretty much fully disappeared behind the hills behind us. Lights on. Temperatures dropping a little bit. This game is starting to ramp up in a little bit of excitement. 2-2 once again. High and outside fastball loads it up.
And this is about as good of an at-bat as you can have if you're Freer. Of course, take one more, free pass, and a free run.
Golden opportunity now. Bases loaded, full count, 1 out. Saints chasing by 2. Payoff pitch. High fastball swung through and missed by Jacob Freer. A big strikeout by Andrew Gardino.
And that is a huge strikeout to your point. I mean, to do that where Freer had fouled off 3 in a row, and to just challenge him with that fastball up, that's a big second out, and it sets up the Force now at any base. And the Foresters just 1 pitch away from getting out of this, still with that 2-run lead intact.
Great work from Gardino. Perfectly executed pitch. Jack Little now, designated hitter in a big spot, sees a breaker drop down into the zone for strike 1. Good job by Gardino now, getting that strikeout, unproductive out, and then getting ahead in the count. First pitch strike, always so important as a pitcher. This one swung on and missed by Jack Little, and he falls behind 0-2.
Just a challenge fastball on the inside part, and look, on the mound, Gardino was just like, see if you can hit it, and Little couldn't.
Now 0-2 in a great spot now for Gardino. Could once again go to a challenge pitch, could also go to a bit of a waste pitch. He will go for the challenge, but this one just misses the high outside corner.
Oh, we just missed strike 3 on that one, a little bit on the outside. Madrid Murray setting up slightly away.
That one ran up to 94 on the gun. 1-2 count, 2 outs. Breaker fouled out of play.
Try to change speeds up on him a little bit after that 94-mile-per-hour fastball goes back to the breaking ball. And he just basically just hit it off the end of the bat.
1-2 once again. Big spot now for the Saints to cash in on some 2-out RBIs. But a big spot for Gardino to try and prevent that. He kicks and delivers. Fastball inside and high. Deuces wild, 2-2 count, 2 outs. Saints chasing by 2. And the delivery. Breaker, top of the zone. Gardino thought it was strike 3. Madrid Murray behind the dish thought it was strike 3. But ultimately, the only one that matters, the home plate umpire, he did not. So now the most exciting play in all of baseball. Full count, 2 outs, bases loaded. Infield goes back. Runners are going to be fully on the move and sure to be action on this play. The delivery. Fouled, out of play. We'll do it again.
That one will definitely hit a car. Good velocity. Just a challenge pitch with a full count. And all these runners, they're going to take their time getting back to the base. It's kind of a way of icing the pitcher out a little bit. And look, in the batter's box, Little can afford to take ball 4.
He's already been walked once today. 7 for 13 on the season before today. Do it again. Bases loaded. Full count. 2 outs. The pitch. Pop fly and fouling out of play. Little staying alive. Keeping the tensions high.
Just a good job of staying in the zone, but it's pretty late on this fastball. Again, we referenced how on the mound he's been up to 94 today, so good velocity, especially as it gets a little bit colder here in Pasadena.
Once again, bases loaded. Full count. 2 outs. Payoff pitch. Once again, fouled out of play. A great at-bat now. Working for Jack Little. And it's going to be the battle. Typical battle of baseball. Pitcher versus hitter.
That's the 3rd foul ball in a row. And look, he's seen all of it. Fastball, and then that last one was a slider. So he's throwing the kitchen sink at him here with the full count.
We will do it once more. Full count, 2 outs. Bases juiced. Gardino steps off. Tensions just keep rising here. So much anticipation on this next pitch. Both dugouts, both fan bases looking forward to seeing the result of this one. Bases loaded, full count, 2 outs. Gardino delivers. This one, pop fly on the right side of the infield. Underneath it, Hoover, and he makes the grab. Lots of traffic on the base paths for the Saints here in the bottom of the 3rd, but ultimately only striking for 1. Forster's still ahead 3-1 as we head to the 4th.
Hello and welcome back to the Arroyo Seco Saints pregame show. I'm Ethan Inman.
And I'm Dylan Gonzalez. We're the journalism interns. The Saints are back from their 3-day break where some of the players took part in the CCL showcase over at the MLB Academy in Compton. The Saints are returning here at Jackie Robinson Field at Brookside Park, faced the same team they played before the break, the Academy Barons, where they won 7-3. They were trailing for most of the game, even though they had a great performance from Danny Bellows with 5 shutout innings. They were on the verge of suffering their first 3-game losing streak of the season, but a big 5-run 8th inning put the Saints ahead, and they didn't look back from there.
Yeah, absolutely. CCL All-Star Jacob Sharp had the big hit in that 5-run inning with the 2-run single, and the Saints were able to pull that one out. And it was a big one because they've lost a couple of games in a row to the Barons, and they were both close ones. I know that Milan wanted both of them, but to get that win was huge heading into a break, where they can relax and know that they ended on a good note, and know that they were facing the same team that they just beat a couple of days later when they came back and restarted the season. So, but let's talk about some of the CCL All-Stars. I know Easton Elliott was a guy who had a big day. If you want to tell the viewers at home, what Easton did at the CCL game.
Not a big deal. He just came off the bench and won Defensive Player of the Game. Over at shortstop, hasn't seen a lot of action at shortstop here, with Adrian Lopez getting a lot of playing time there, as well as Tyler Gordon, who's played a lot there lately. But just like, it's not a surprise to us who've been covering the Saints all summer. Easton can play pretty much anywhere on the field and provide plus value on defense. And it's good that he was able to showcase that to the rest of the league.
Forsters still ahead by 2. It's the catcher Grant Madrid Murray, then down to the 9-hitter Brady Dollamore, then up to the top of the order in Maddox Mandino due up for the Foresters. Facing off again against the southpaw of the Saints in Chris Hernandez-Vidas. Coming in for his 2nd inning of work here in this relief appearance. Misses the first offering. This one fouled back into the fence. Got caught up in the fence. That one might sit there for a while.
Yeah. That one's just hanging out.
Right in the middle of the panel.
Just watch the game from up there. It's probably a good view.
1-1. This one again fouled out of play.
Now, Madrid Murray, interestingly, he actually played in the CCL last year for the Ventura County Pirates. He only hit under 100 actually, but only had 2 hits in about 30 plate appearances. So another welcome face, familiar to the CCL.
1-2 pitch, grounded up the middle and past the diving Enright for a base hit. Grant Madrid Murray gets on board to start things for the Foresters.
Just a worm burner up the middle. Just look, he didn't try to do too much with it, and certainly with the 2-strike count, just kind of got it past Trotter Enright, the shortstop for the Saints. Yet another leadoff runner on, and the Foresters, they'd love to continue adding to that lead.
Now it's the 9-hitter, Brady Dollamore. First one runs inside and misses. Hernandez-Vidas now in his 2nd inning of work. Likely we won't see him go too much longer in this one after this inning, as the 2nd one once again runs inside. Pitchers here for the Saints, obviously lots of guys wanting to get a lot of work in such a little time over the 2-ish or so months of summer. Longest inning we've seen from a Saints pitcher, 4 innings from Zach Erdman. He was the starter on Saturday's game just a few days ago. Longest relief appearance we've seen was Brady Nelson, who came in right after Erdman on Saturday. He pitched 3. Besides that, pitchers only just really held to 1 or 2 innings out of the bullpen as Hernandez-Vidas checks over on Madrid Murray at first base. 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed. A big swing there from Dollamore, but comes up empty. Two and two. Grounded up the middle. Enright's got it. Tried to go for a behind-the-back flip to Lopez at second. Ends up fielding it again himself. Just kept on moving. And tried to go really for a trick play, Savannah Banana type double play, but unable to do so.
I mean, that would have been pretty sick if he was able to do it, but kind of lollipopped away towards second base. And let's see what the official score actually calls it. Looks like they're going to call it an E6 on the Saints shortstop, Trotter Enright, who tried to make the Sports Center top 10 with that one.
Now up to the top of the order. Maddox Medino shows bunt but pulls back. Hernandez-Vides misses outside. And, you know, you might think that's a bit of a hot dog play, you might say, but in that scenario, Enright going up the middle, going against his throwing side, kind of one of the only plays he really had. He could have tried to shove it back with his bare hand, but would have kind of been behind Lopez. Awkward positioning as, once again, Mandino goes for the bunt. Can't get it down on this one. It goes foul. But almost sort of heads-up defense there from Enright, trying to do whatever he can to make the play. Not many opportunities to really make that one. Yes, there may have been some better ways to do it, but ultimately that one, not too upset about it. 1-1 now to Mandino. He once again squares, but pulls back. High and outside fastball misses.
And potentially wanting to put this bunt down with runners on first and second. Now, the third baseman for the Saints, that's Freer, is playing in line with the bag, but he is crashing when he squares.
Mandino squares again, but pulls back. This one just misses the outer edge. Brings it to a 3-1 count. Still 2 runners aboard. Nobody out. Forster's looking to extend upon their 2-run lead here in the top of the 4th. He squares, gets it down in fair territory. Freer Fields throws over first in time to get Mandino. Sacrificing an out for 90 feet on 2 separate bases. Now both runners up into scoring position, and the meat of the order coming up for the Forsters.
Yeah, it's a job well done on that sac bunt. And as you mentioned, sets up that 2-3-4 part of the lineup coming up here. 2 runners in scoring position, and just a chance again to make this potentially a 5-1 game. And the outfield's also not playing super deep, so a ball that gets in the gap could roll for a while.
You know, the sacrifice bunt almost sort of becoming a lost art here in the sport of baseball. Too many guys trying to go for the long bomb. First pitch gets in there to Sawyer Farr, the shortstop and 2-hitter, but you know, that sacrifice bunt is such an important play. If you can get that down, execute for your offense. And you know, this past season I was up broadcasting with the St. Mary's Gales, where we had Cody Kashimoto, who actually led Division I baseball in sacrifice bunts. As a great inside pitch ties up Sawyer Farr to get it to an 0-2 count. You know, Sid, your Bruins now going to Omaha. You will be joining them out there. My Gales ended up making a regional up in Corvallis, but would end up dropping it there. And a called strike 3 on the low inside corner from Hernandez-Vides. A big strikeout now, 2 outs on the inning.
Yeah, I mean, look, 0-2 count, and you don't want to be taking a fastball basically right down the middle for strike 3, and that's exactly what he did at the box, and that's a big second out here in the inning. He would love to strand those 2 runners in scoring position.
And, you know, with the infield in as well, more, you know, balls can end up getting through that infield where they have less reaction time and, you know, less capabilities to show off their range. So really a ball in play could be very important there, especially if you just put the pressure on the defense, make them make the play. You know, a very unproductive out there, but a big out for Hernandez-Vides as he misses with the first offering and misses with the second one as well.
And you reference, you know, your Gales making the postseason, and of course postseason baseball, especially at the college level, super exciting. And I think one of the aspects that I personally love is the fact that you'll see sac bunts at the college level. Definitely don't see that at the pro level, and to your point, it is a bit of a lost art.
2-0, grounded up the middle. Ranging up to it is Enright, but it gets by him and up the middle for a base hit. Both runners come around to score, and a clutch 2-out, 2 RBI single from Easton Mumau puts the Foresters up 5-1.
And didn't try to do too much there. I mean, look, it was just a fastball on a 2-0 count, so you're sitting dead red and just a chopper up the middle. And it was just a pitch that was left a little bit there towards the middle of the plate. Caught a lot of the white there, and that's a big run. Actually, a big couple of runs, rather, for the Foresters with that 4-run lead now.
Breaker just misses outside to the left fielder in Brenton Clark. Foresters manager coming out having a word with Terrence Kill II, who's in the on-deck box. Excuse me, on-deck circle, rather, as Brenton Clark, who is in the batter's box, takes ball 2. Two outs. Easton Mumau on first after he knocked in 2 runs with a 2-out RBI single. 2 RBI single make that. Hernandez Vita is now high and inside. 3-0 count.
And these have been pretty significant misses so far, but he just has to get back in the zone. Again, 3-0 count, 2 outs. He's 1 pitch away from getting out of it.
Does get back in the zone, catches the outer half. In this situation, by stereotype, Hernandez Vitas does have the advantage in a lefty-lefty square-off. He delivers the 3-1, but it's down in the dirt. Non-competitive and gives Clark the walk. Now Terrence Kill II out of A&M coming up. 2 outs, 2 runners on.
Yeah, last time Keel was up at the plate, had a pretty good swing, had that single to the left side, getting it past the shortstop for the Saints, Trotter Enright, as we see the pitching coach for the Saints coming out to have a quick little chat here with the Saints pitcher. Now, Hernandez Vitas has had trouble finding the zone. I mean, a couple of walks here early, but to your point, it is summer baseball. You're not going to see a huge leash on these pitchers, but I think the conversation right now, certainly he's not coming out of the game, it seems like. It's more so a conversation of, hey, what's working, what's not, take a deep breath. We just need one more pitch to get out of this inning.
Right, and at least based off the trends that we've seen from the Saints so far through the first 3 games and now here into the 4th, we haven't seen the coaching staff really make too many in-inning pitching changes. They're really, relying on letting their pitchers go through that full inning and then bringing in a new guy fresh from the pen for a fresh frame. As it's now Terrence Kill II coming up, 2 runners on, 2 outs. First pitch from Hernandez Vitas. He is back in the zone on the high inside corner and gets called strike 1. One lined up the middle and scorched. Williams, a bad read, and it's over his head. 1 run comes around to score. Wave is on for the second. Kill's on his way to third. Throw goes there, diving in, safe. A 2-out, 2 RBI triple from Terrence Kill increases the Foresters' lead. They now lead 7-1.
I mean, talk about a ball that was just a dynamite off the bat. But I think to your point, in center field there, it just was not a good read off the bat by Williams. That ball ended up going, significantly past him, and his first step was in. And when you make a first step in, especially you're taught as an outfielder, first step back, then always move in, and just an elementary mistake, and that cost them.
Scorched off the bat, 97-mile-an-hour rocket. Now it's 2 outs, runner on third. It's Caleb Hoover at the dish. Big, strong power bat for the Foresters. We saw him launch one earlier tonight. He gets the first one. It's now 0-1. This one ripped through the 3-4 hole, and another 2-out RBI for the Foresters. They lead 8-1.
I mean, look, you can't hit a ball harder than that, and I thought that after his home run that he hit earlier. I mean, 2 well-hit balls off the bat, not afraid to pull it to the right side. Now the Foresters are just kind of making a mockery of this Saints pitching staff. That's a 5 spot in this inning.
Yeah, now Easton Ruley coming up. That one, 103 off the bat through the right side. Absolute rocket. We've seen Hoover get a hold of one earlier in this one and launched one way out of here. But now this one, 103 on the ground. Picks up Easton Ruley. Foresters ahead by 7 now. This one, pop fly into center field. Williams going back and gets underneath it, makes the grab. The damage stops, but the Foresters with 5 on the inning increase their lead. It's 8-1 heading to the bottom of the 4th. A 5-run top of the 4th by the Foresters puts the Saints in a 7-run chase. Trying to get 1 or 2 back here. You don't have to get them all back. You still have a handful of outs and innings to work with. Trying to do so, it's going to be Gannon Snyder, Levi Medella, and Noah Williams, the bottom third of the Saints lineup. First offering to Snyder. Misses just upstairs, 1-0. Breaker above the zone. Snyder goes ahead 2-0.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you've got a 7-run lead on the mound. You just want to attack these hitters and force them to hit you. The Saints have not proven to do that so far. They have just 1 hit.
Two-0 pitch. Swung on and missed by Snyder. Green light was on, and he tried to take a hack, but comes up shallow. Yeah, you mentioned that 1 hit by the Saints. Only hit on the night tonight belongs to Trotter Enright. Going across the line, it's 8 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for the Foresters. As the 2-1 is in there for a called strike, 2-2. Going across the line for the Saints, 1 run, 1 hit, and 3 errors defensively. A tough night so far for the Saints. Looking to change that, though. 2-2, down below the knees. Full count.
Yeah, I think on the mound, he thought that was a pretty nice pitch, and it was a pretty good setup pitch, honestly, with 2-2 count, but working it back full. Good job by Snyder of just taking that pitch and having the chance for a free pass here.
Payoff pitch. Whoa! Way upstairs and catches Snyder off the helmet. He's going to get up immediately. He dropped to the floor, but he's back up on his feet, which is a good sign for now. Not shaken up enough to stay down, but he's slowly walking his way down to first, and the trainers are immediately going to come out. Very similar to what we saw happen earlier in this game when Easton Ruley took one off the helmet.
I mean, almost hit him in the same place. At least with Ruley, that kind of got him maybe on the bill of his helmet, but this one, at least Snyder was able to turn his head slightly, so it hit him more on the back of his helmet, but now the trainer for the Saints coming out to take a look alongside a couple of coaches, the third base coach alongside the first base coach, and it appears that they're just checking his temple to make sure he's all right.
Yeah, from our at least point of view and perspective, that one sounded as well like it got a lot more of the helmet than it did anything else, whereas Ruley's earlier in this game, sound wasn't that crisp, clear knock that we kind of heard with Snyder's, and at least from what we can assume, Ruley, maybe it didn't get all of his face, maybe it got a little bit of the helmet, maybe a little bit of the face, but it definitely got a little bit of flesh. This one, at least from what we saw and we heard, Snyder got it really more off the meat of the helmet, exactly why you wear those things. And it looks like he's okay. Trainer and coaches retreat. He puts the helmet back on, and he will stay in this game. He's running at first.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of Snyder's line so far, actually, technically has not recorded an at-bat yet. Had that walk back in the second, and that hit by pitch just now, so he's got a clean line here, at least until he gets up for his third AB.
0 for 0 on the night. Snyder's 3 for 9 on the season with an RBI. And now it's the 8-hole hitter and the first baseman, Levi Medella, now coming up for the Saints. Leadoff man gets on by way of the hit by pitch. Snyder a little antsy on the base paths. First breaker just misses below the zone by Gardino. And Medella goes ahead 1-0. Second one ripped through the 3-4 hole and almost catches a piece of Snyder. He falls to the ground, struggles to regain his footing, but ultimately it's bobbled out in right field by Kill, so he does not have a play at second base. Snyder just a ball magnet as of the last few minutes.
I mean, having to do a little kung fu out there just to get out of the way. And that was a really good swing off the bat by Medella. Look, a career 274 hitter at Wichita State. And I think that's exactly what they want him to work on. Look, back in 2024, he hit 343 his freshman year. Took a bit of a step back this past season, and that's what he's here, to work on that, to get back to that freshman year level.
He was 4 for 10 on the summer season so far coming into this one. Now he is 1 for 2, records just the Saints' second hit of the night so far. Now the 9-hitter, Noah Williams, stepping up, 2 runners on base. Breaker gets in there for a called strike. Williams, we talked about him a little earlier with his, journey of becoming such a talented baseball player. As the 1-1 to him runs outside, but just so far on the summer season, 2 for 8, looking to warm up just a little bit more. Ultimately, not a bad season. Could get a whole lot worse. And just a, small sample size, if you will. But, one of those 2 hits, a 3-run home run that was launched over the left field wall. He was hitting from the right side of the plate, the switch hitter. As he swings through the 2-1, brings it to 2-2.
That was a good comeback pitch there. And to your point, though, the Saints, look, they've had a lot of free passes so far. 4 walks, 2 hit by pitches, but only 1 run and now 2 hits to show for it. They have an opportunity right now.
2-2. Lined the other way and down for a base hit. Snyder rounding third. He's going to put on the stop sign. And a single through the 5-6 hole the other way loads the bases for the top of the Saints order.
And a really good piece of hitting there. I mean, look, lefty bat in Noah Williams. Had that hit by pitch in that earlier AB back in the second, but did a good job of just sticking with this pitch and taking it the other way to the left side. And pretty conservative there by the Saints third base coach. Look, you only got, I mean, there's no outs in the inning, actually. So with the bases loaded and the top of your lineup coming up, it's an opportunity to hit big.
Yeah, a golden opportunity to try and get back into this game. You obviously still have a lot of outs to work with, and you'd rather not spend one of those outs getting thrown out at the plate when that run can come in and score. First one to Lopez, big hack, but straight through it. 0-1 count now. Lopez so far tonight, also a guy who has not officially recorded an at-bat. He's got 2 walks. Takes an excuse me swing on the outside fastball. Drops behind 0-2. Lopez now in a hole. Tries to go with the softer stuff, but misses upstairs.
A little bendy there with 2 strikes. Pretty good pitch. A little bit up in the zone, and that's pretty dangerous with no outs.
Gardino delivers the 1-2, and it's tapped just foul behind the plate by Lopez.
Outfield for the Foresters playing about medium deep. Infield also playing relatively back to try and keep this ball on the infield, but pretty good speed in Medella at second and Williams at third. Excuse me, Williams at first and Snyder at third.
1-2 pitch again. This one hacked at and fouled out of play. Lopez once again looking to stay alive, spoiling off rather those borderline pitches, looking for just a mistake. Oh, Williams got into a 2-strike count and at bat to go. Didn't try to do too much and just slapped one the other way for an easy base hit. Lopez with the 1-2, grounds it up the middle, over the glove of Gardino, and kicked by the second baseman, Rulli, and spits into shallow center field. Snyder scores. 2 runs end up scoring. Medella comes around as well. Williams advancing all the way up to third. Levi Medella, again, not trying to do too much, just puts the ball in play, puts the pressure on the defense, gets 2 runs to come around and score. Saints now trailing by 5.
Yeah, and likely going to be called an error there at second base by Easton Rulli. That's the second baseman for the Foresters, but a good piece of hitting to just put that ball into play and just get that run in, and you got to start chipping away, and that's exactly what the Saints are doing here. Now it's just a 5-run deficit.
Trotter N right now, the 2-hole hitter. Runners on the corners and both very speedy runners. Likely to see some first and third shenanigans. Not on this pitch as it runs high and outside. But just the importance of having some offensive execution, just being able to put the ball in play. So important in the game of baseball. And Lopez, perfect example of it right there. 1-0. No, never mind. They will check over on Lopez at first.
Now, Enright at the plate. We talked about him a little bit earlier, but his best hitting performance of this past college season came against CSU Bakersfield, where he went 3 for 4 with a double and an RBI.
1-0. Lines this one sharply, but way foul and out of play above the Saints dugout. Ends it up at 1-1. And right tonight, already 1 for 1 with a walk. He's delivered the 1-1. He takes a great hack at it, but high and outside gets by him. Now 1-2.
That was a big swing. But just a challenge fastball on the mound there by Gardino. that fastball, he's continued to be aggressive with it in spite of the runners that he's led on and the 2 runs that have scored.
1 and 2 to Enright. Lopez on first, Williams on third. Lopez moves, and they're not even going to give him the contest. He has second base freely, and the ball runs high and outside to Enright. So a 2-2 count, 2 runners in scoring position. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th. Half inning ago, Forrester's got 5 to go up 8-1. So far here in the bottom of the 4th, Saints have gotten 2. And looking to extend on that is Trotter Enright. The pitch, breaker, outer edge, called strike 3.
And look, he went back to the breaking ball there with 2 strikes. And if you're Enright, look, that's a good pitch and a hard strike 3 to take, but you have 2 sitting ducks there, and you just need to put the ball in play. But at least for Andrew Gardino, it's a good bounce back there after pretty arguably disastrous start to the inning for him.
Now it's Joey Milto, who's coming off an incredible night a few nights ago on Sunday. First one is down in the dirt to him tonight. Milto 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. Looking to change that here with 2 runners in scoring position. I have a quick timeout. We're going to exchange baseballs.
No more strikes in that ball. Got to get a new one.
Milto steps back in. Still Williams on third, Lopez on second. This one grounded over to first. That will score a run, but it will go down as a ground out. But job well done. Saints end up getting 3 and cutting the Foresters' lead now in half, as it's now J.J. Kennett, 2 outs, and a runner on third.
Yeah, it's a good piece of hitting, and again, this has turned into a pretty productive inning. 8 runs have scored between both of these teams in just the 4th inning. To think we have 12 runs already, it's going to be a pretty offensive-heavy game the rest of the way.
Kennett takes the first one. Good breaker there from Gardino at the top of the zone. Bends back in for a strike. Oh and 1 count now to Kennett. Fastball at the top of the zone. This one just above the letters. Now a 1 and 1 count. Kennett's 0 for 1, strikeout and a walk so far tonight. Back to the breaker goes Gardino, and back in the strike zone he gets as well. 1-2 count, 2 outs. Eli Lopez still standing on third. J.J. Kennett looking to battle. One, two. Breaker swung on and missed for strike 3. Saints get a couple back. Now only just trailing to 4 as we head into the 5th inning from here in Pasadena. Welcome back. Here in the top of the 5th, Saints go to the pen. It's Tyler Herges out of Azusa Pacific University. A couple nights ago, we had the opportunity to interview Tyler here up in the booth on the broadcast. He had some fun things to say as the first pitch is swung on and missed by by Grant Madrid Murray, the backstop for the Foresters tonight. Second one's high fly ball down the right field line, but foul and out of the reach of Milto. Herges comes in and gets a quick 0-2.
That's exactly what you want to do. Your team, your offense puts up some good runs on the board, and you just want to keep doing that.
You know, when we interviewed Tyler a couple nights ago on Sunday, we had mentioned his dad, Matt Herges, 13-year MLB big leaguer, played for the Dodgers, the Padres. As the 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed by Madrid Murray, but is back to his dad. Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks, Giants, Marlins, Rockies, Indians. A big journeyman, if you will, in the MLB, and had a good career. And we had asked Tyler, you know, what kind of impact has that had on his life and his baseball career? And, you know, he said along the lines of his dad was his biggest supporter and had nothing but faith in everything that Tyler was doing in his own career, in his own life. And Tyler was very grateful for the impact that his dad has had on him. And, you know, always fun to kind of have that baseball blood. You get to see and grow up, watch your dad on the TV, and then go out and try and do it yourself. Herges now in a 1-1 count to Brady Dollamore. Breaker there, runs low and outside.
Now, to your point, I mean, just with that background and that baseball lineage, obviously it makes for a very smart and mature player at a younger age, just when you grow up with that in the family.
Now Herges back in the zone. It's a 2-2 count. Herges delivers. In there, called strike 3.
Just a well-placed, another yet challenge fastball at the knees. And that's a strikeout looking. So a strikeout swinging, followed by a strikeout looking. That's a good way to start his outing on the mound, especially for a pitcher who really this year has just tried to stay healthy. He's battled a shoulder injury the past 2 years that kind of sidelined what could have been a pretty promising start to his career back in 2023.
This one misses just above the zone, ball 1. One-two is chopped over to the right side, fielded by Medella, flipped to Herges, and he's got it for the third out. 3 up, 3 down out of Tyler Herges coming out of the pen. A clean top of the 5th inning. We will head to the home half right after this break.
Coming in this game, he has a 400 on-base percentage. He's going to get up with the 2 hits he has. He lines one.
That one's belted to right field, and that one is gone. How about Josh Livingston getting things started here for the Saints? He ropes a home run right over the right field. Jake Brown looking up. That one is gone. An opposite field home run. Alex Burge.
First pickles, then Oppo tacos. How about that for Alex Burge? Hit the home run to right. He was like, nah. I'm going to hit one to left now. How about a 3-run blast for the backstop?
Booms that one to right field. Matthew Thomas will just have to look back. That one is gone. Welcome to the game, Colton Dahl. Jacob Shart with a 3-run home run, the second 3-run home run of the game, and the lead continues to balloon. It's 9-1.
I mean, off the bat.
Bottom of the 5th. Saints still trailing by 4. It's Jacob Freer, Jack Little, and Gannon Snyder due up for the Arroyo Seco Saints. Currently down 8-4 against Santa Barbara Foresters. First pitch to Freer in there for a called strike.
Now his first 2 at-bats of the game, Freer did strike out, swinging both times, but at Azusa Pacific, he's considered, at least coming into his freshman year, was considered a bit of a promising newcomer. He was contending for a starting spot at third base for that team, and I think what his head coach said about him in that Cougar program is that he's got a uniquely high skill set that he brings to Azusa Pacific.
He fouls the 1-1 back, brings it to a 1-2 count.
And so he ended up in the fall time competing for that third base spot, but he was first penciled as a middle infielder and then switched over to the corner infield spot.
Now in a 1-2 count. Still facing off against Gardino. Tries to run that one at the top of the zone, but misses way up and out. Breaker, outer edge, called strike 3. Gardino gets the first out of the inning by way of the backwards K.
And I mean, just a perfectly placed slider there with 2 strikes. That's actually giving the sombrero. Third strikeout for Freer on the night in the box. But Gardino, after a pretty challenging inning last inning, did a pretty good job there just getting that first out.
That was Jack Little, the designated hitter. First one, down below the zone, check to swing, appeal to first, did not go around. One 1-0 pitch, fastball above the letters, ball 2. To Jack Little in there for a called strike. Two and 1 count, 1 out. This one lined over to second and past Rulli into center field, and Little's going to take a hard turn as if he was going to try to extend up to second base, but retreats back to first with a single.
And that ball was hit pretty hard off the bat, and just judging by that banana peel turn he made at first base, he wanted 2 on that, just trying to take advantage of that outfield for the Foresters that were a little bit tardy in terms of getting to that ball. That's Maddox Mandino, the center fielder for the Foresters, who ended up getting that one. Nice single. Arroyo Seco trying to get back on the board.
Small lead over at first for Little. Gannon Snyder steps up, takes the first one outside. One 1-0 pitch. Gardino goes to a breaker, and a good one, and a delayed steal from Jack Little, and he gets second base.
It actually appeared behind the behind the plate. Madrid Murray, the catcher for the Foresters, kind of let that one go through the 5-hole, it seemed like. So we'll see if that's likely ruled as a pass ball on the catcher, Madrid Murray, but that puts that runner in scoring position, so good heads-up base running by Little, who does have good speed.
Thank you, Sid. I looked down to check my stats and my notes and just completely took my eyes off the action. But now it's Little on second base. Snyder on the dish. Takes a slow motion swing. A low outside breaker. Now 1-2 with 1 out.
And once again, the outfield for the Foresters not playing super deep, so a ball in the gap would likely roll for a while, but if it hits grass, likely that run's going to score.
1-2 into left center field. Going back on it is Clark, and he's going to track it down with an over-the-head catch. Little at second base. Thought about going back to tag, but ultimately did not have the time to do so.
And good base running out there at second base by Little because, look, that was a fly ball to the left side with 1 out. Unless that ball is going to, first of all, be on the right side or significantly deep, he's not going to want to tag there and make that third out at third. Of course, cardinal rule of base running, don't make that first or third out at third base. So a chance here to get a hit and potentially get one more run in to chip this lead.
Levi Medella now, the first baseman. He's going to line the first one softly over the first baseman, Hoover. Wave is going to be on for Little. Bobbled in right, throw down to second, and he is tagged out. And it looks like the run did score. So an RBI single, but Levi Medella is thrown out trying to extend to second. Saints do get one back and are now trailing 8-5 as we head to the top of the 6th.
Adam Beck, Evan Davis here with Joey Craig, Saints outfielder, and we're going to do a little what's in his bag segment here. So Joey, what's in your bag?
Well, first off, let's talk about the bag itself. This is a sick bag that Arroyo Seco gave me. As soon as I got here, they gave me a bunch of gear too and all that good stuff. But let's crack this thing open. What's the temperature looking like today? Probably like 95.
Yeah.
So, I mean, starting it off, a little core hydration. Got to stay hydrated out here in the California heat. Got a little snack at the gas station before, a little pickup. These are just the basic little essentials. Then we got, obviously, helmet, getting us right. And then going to deeper in the bag, we got the Evo Shield elbow guard, keeping us safe from hit by pitches and stuff. Don't want to be crying on the way down the first base, all that good stuff. And then when we do finally get on base, we got the Marucci sliding mitt, so keep our hands safe, all that good
oven
stuff.
Glove.
Yep, a little oven mitt.
Do you take stuff out of the
Top of the 6th. Foresters still ahead by 3. Sawyer Farr, Easton Mumau, and Brenton Clark due up. First pitch, high fly ball, third base line, foul territory, and making the grab on it is Freer. Had some ground to cover, but ends up making the grab for a quick first out. Easton Mumau now, the third baseman. One of 2 members of this Foresters starting 9 with the name Easton. And interesting, it's Easton Mumau and Easton Ruley. Easton also with connections to baseball, a sports equipment company. It supplies a lot of baseball equipment to, the entire country. Tyler Herges gets ahead of Mumau now quickly 0-2.
Yeah, he's been looking good so far. I mean, just efficient, of course, with that pop out to the left side, and now a 2-strike count.
This one low and outside. Now 1-2.
And Mumau just staying in the box. He wants to hit. He didn't even take a step out.
1-2. Swung on and fouled towards the Saints dugout.
He almost took off the noggin of a couple of players sitting down in that dugout. We've already had a couple of hit by pitches. Don't need a hit by foul ball.
That's what you would refer it to. I don't, what would that Would that be what it would refer? I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I propose a revision to the scorebook.
That's a
HBF.
good call. That's a good call. Hit by foul ball. 2-2 count. This one off the foot of Mumau. And man, that never feels good when you foul one off into yourself.
Yeah, and luckily it seems like he is wearing a shin guard, but I think it might have gotten him right on the place it wasn't covering, which, I mean, hey, it was a foul ball and he was hit by it.
Hit by
Foul
foul.
ball.
There it is.
There you go.
In action.
Put it in the scorebook.
And you know, a lot of guys, we just mentioned Easton being that sports equipment company, but you look at all these Evo shields in the game nowadays. I mean, the protection equipment, I guess you could say, and, you know, all over every level. You know, there's shin guards, wrist guards, hand guards, elbow guards. Some guys wear the face guards. Not sure if that's Evo shield, but the little helmet attachment. 2-2 breaker and a good location, but just doesn't get the call. Now loads up the count.
That was a really good 2-2 pitch, rather.
Payoff. In there, called strike 3. Tyler Herges, another strikeout and 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, and he is cruising at the moment. One pitch to that first hitter with that pop out to the third baseman. And then just followed it up with, took him a full count there with 5 pitches, but able to get the backwards K.
Squares to bunt now does Brenton Clark, but a called strike as he pulled back. Oh, 1 runs inside and misses.
Now, Clark has actually seen quite a few pitches in this game. His last 2 at-bats, he actually got them both to 3-ball counts.
1-1 is grounded sharply to Lopez, but off of his glove and skips into right field. And E4 gets the runner on base with 2 outs for the Foresters.
Yeah, it was just a ground ball that he tried to get a little bit clever with. Eli Lopez, the second baseman, didn't quite square up on that ground ball, tried to get it on his forehand, even though he was right in front of the ball. And so took a bad hop, and that's what you get for being a little bit too tight on that ball and not really getting down there.
Herges did his job, got that ground ball. But just defense not really helping him out there. First pitch now to kill the second, fouled straight back. Herges' line on the night, still an inning and 2/3, no hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. His first outing, handful of nights ago, that was opening night against the San Diego Waves. He went 2 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks with no strikeouts. So a great job by Herges here to bounce back and have a much better outing. Likely, once again, we will see him on that sort of 2-inning leash, if you will. Now just 1 out away from getting those 2 complete innings. Working to get it. 1-1. High fastball. Gets Keel to swing through it. Now 1-2.
And yet another aggressive swing by Keel, who had that single back in the 3rd inning, but feels like every time he's come up, the ball's been hit hard off his bat.
And this one is going to catch him off the helmet. The 3rd time today we have seen a batter hit in the helmet. This one, maybe he seems okay, but didn't ultimately sound like it got all helmet. Might have got a little bit of maybe the back of the neck as well.
Yeah, and I mean, he seems to be walking around just fine, but just to consider the fact that that is the 3rd batter hit in the helmet in one game is frankly ridiculous. Like, I don't know if I've seen that this entire season.
I mean, let alone 3 hit batters in a game.
Yeah.
But all in the helmet /head/face area. And, you know, if you get hit in the back or in the leg, you know, not much worry or concern. Even if you get hit in the foot, yes, it's going to hurt a lot more, but, you know, not major concern. Once it goes towards, you know, the head, neck, face area, it gets a whole lot scarier. Glad to see that our 3 victims here tonight are okay. Caleb Hoover now in the box. It's 2 runners on, 2 outs, and he's in an 0-1 count. Herges delivers in there, called strike 2. Hoover 2 for 3 on the day today. Launched a home run and had a sharp ground ball through the right side as well. Now in an 0-2 count. Back foot slider gets away. Check swing, he did not go around, but both base runners move up 90 feet. Now 2 in scoring position.
Yeah, it was just a 12-6 curveball with the 2-strike count that just got away from Kenneth, the catcher for the Saints. And, I mean, it's hard sometimes to be able to collect the ball in the dirt, especially with that spin from a pitcher, but that's a big 90 feet. 2 runners in scoring position.
1-2 count. Fastball just misses the outer edge. Now Hoover evens it up at 2-2. Good battle. Dropped quickly. Now with 2 balls. Once again, the delivery. This one once again fouled off. Good battle now by Hoover. Two and 2 count, 2 outs, 2 runners in scoring position. And a swinging strike 3. Tyler Herges gets out of it without any real damage. Saints looking to chase 3 going into the bottom of the 6th from here in Pasadena. Foresters ahead 3, go to the pen. It's the 6-foot, 195-pound right-hander Tag Andrews. He's a Maumelle, Arkansas native. That's why he's from the U of Arkansas, Fayetteville.
Yeah, and I mean, coming into this year was a freshman, as you mentioned, 6 foot, 190. Went to Maumelle High School, and out of high school was rated the number 3 overall prospect and the number 2 right-handed pitcher in Arkansas by Perfect Game. So comes into this with pretty good pedigree and obviously plays for the Razorbacks, a pretty solid baseball program.
First pitch to Noah Williams in there for a strike. Ties up Williams on that offering. A quick 0-2.
And a really good breaking ball. Got it right under his hands on the inside part of the plate. That's exactly where I put it, especially with that lefty.
But Noah Williams takes the 0-2 count and makes it his. A line drive single into center field to get things started for the Saints.
And just a well-placed single. I mean, 2-strike count, so he's protecting, but was sitting on that breaking ball and just took it up the middle. Just a nice little line drive. Now, the Saints have been quiet. They scored 3 runs a couple of innings ago, followed by a single run, and were held shut out here in this past 5th inning. So they'd love to get back on the board. Again, they're still down by 3 runs.
First pitch just misses now to the leadoff man and Eli Lopez. This one lined into left center field, down for a base hit. Williams is going to put the stop sign on at second. Back-to-back line drive base hits for Noah Williams and Eli Lopez. 2 runners on, no one out. Trotter Enright approaching the dish.
And that's exactly what getting behind in the count will do to you if you're on the mound. Andrews was down 1-0, tried to flip in a slider there behind in the count, and Lopez, we've seen him have pretty solid swings, certainly to start the summer season, but also just generally today. I mean, that was just another well-hit ball to left field.
First pitch to Enright, outside and just misses. Enright already ahead and brings it back. Even does Andrews, gets back in the zone now, 1-1 count. Just mentioned that strong day by Lopez. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 walks. Been on base in all 4 of his plate appearances as Enright fouls this one out of play.
Generally speaking, too, just with like nighttime coming down here at Jackie Robinson Memorial Field, temperatures are starting to dip as well, so the ball may not carry as much. That makes it all the more important to have great contact.
Double steal, going to third with it, sliding in safely is Noah Williams. Speed on display with that double steal from the second leadoff man and the actual leadoff man. Puts both in scoring position now for Trotter Enright.
Yeah, 2 sitting ducks and no outs still. Infield's playing standard.
Just misses the outer edge, does Andrews. Now brings it to a full count, base open, but with Enright representing that tying run, you'd rather not put him on base, give him the opportunity to score. Payoff pitch, down in the dirt, ball 4. They will walk Enright. Obviously not intentionally, but he gets on base nonetheless, loads the bases for the 3-hole hitter, Joey Milto.
And I mean, to have bases loaded yet again for the Saints with Milto coming up. This is the 2nd time that has happened in this game. The last time that Milto came up, didn't have as much success as he would have liked, but he's got another opportunity here with no outs and the bases loaded.
Yeah, last time in this situation, Milto had an RBI ground out. Now with a second chance. First one down in the dirt. One-0 pitch. Ties him up, but a called strike. 1-1 count. Joey Milto awaiting with bases loaded. Gonna go way outside. Andrews hit his spot there. Backstop for the Foresters. Madrid Murray really set up almost in the right-handed batter's box. Andrews delivers with that location, but they can't get Milto to bite on it. Breaker, though, does get Milto to bite on it, and he swings over the top. Quick step off and reset. Two, fouled out of play.
Trying to keep that battle going. 2-2 count. And again, with those bases loaded, all he really needs to do is just put the ball in play. Don't want to go down with a strikeout here.
Two, he does put it in play right at the umpire at short. And it looks like it hit the umpire. And so a dead ball awards the run and awards Milto with first base. And each base runner will advance one. And it does hit the umpire. So the bases are still loaded with nobody out. Now hands the bat off to J.J. Kennett. And the Saints just trailing by 2 now.
What is it with so many people getting hit by the ball today? I mean, multiple hit by pitches. Potentially an entire dugout hit by a foul ball earlier. Now the second base umpire also getting in on the fun.
Now some quick confusion with the Foresters head coach. He's going to come out and have a conversation with the home plate umpire. And while this is going down, you look at a guy like Noah Williams, guy in the 9-hole, and normally, the 9-hole kind of regarded as one of the quote-unquote worst hitters or worst, offensive producers in a baseball lineup. But you look at Noah Williams' line tonight. He's been on plenty of times. He's got 2 hits on the night. He's 2 for 2, couple of hit by pitches, and he scored 3 runs for the Saints. He's just been so offensively productive. And then you look at the top of the order in Eli Lopez and Trotter Enright, both of which Lopez been on base 4 times tonight with 2 RBIs. Enright been on base 3 times. That's just exactly what you look for in your second leadoff man, the 9-hitter, and then your leadoff and your 2-hole hitter.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the beauty of that 9-hitter is, to your point, traditionally it might be seen as, hey, you want to put your lesser hitters in that position, but it also can function when done right as a secondary leadoff to kickstart you back into the top of the order. And that's exactly what Noah Williams has been doing.
Absolutely. Gives guys at the top of the order the opportunity to, get some RBIs of their own. As a check swing now from J.J. Kennett drops him down behind 0-1. Saints the opportunity to tie this game with potentially just 1 swing. Potentially even take the lead with 1 swing as well. This one out of play and off one of the lights. Kicks back onto the field to play. And now a quick 0-2 count for Kennett. 0-2 pitch. Fouled straight back. Saints now been able to string together some offense, still trailing the Foresters by 2 runs, but have now out-hit the Foresters by 1 hit. 8 hits compared to the Saints 9. This one chopped over to third. He's going to come home with it and get the force out there. Heads up play by Mumau to go the short way and save a run.
Yeah, just a little chopper on the grass. And for Mumau, honestly, might have been his only play. I think he got that ball on the grass there, almost like a swinging bunt. So threw it over to his catcher, Madrid Murray, at the plate. So it prevents a run from scoring, and it's an unproductive out for the Saints, who still have the bases loaded.
Fielder's choice prevents the run from coming across. All the other base runners move up 90 feet. Still bases loaded. First pitch now to Jacob Freer. This is down below the knees. Now the Foresters potentially 1 swing from getting out of this inning, but the Saints one swing away from tying this ball game. This one lined into left center field. Clark going back on it. It gets over his head and is going to roll to the wall. 1 run scores, 2 run scores. Wave is on for the 3rd man. And 3 runs score. A bases clearing double for Jacob Freer gives the Saints the lead.
I mean, look, you can't do it much better than that. I mean, he took a ball the other way. It was an off-speed pitch that he took to left center field. And look, Clark for the Foresters had no shot of getting this one. Bases clearing double. Can't do much better than that. And, hey, it's a brand-new ball game. And, in fact, a ball game in favor of the Saints.
We were just talking about Saints 1 swing away from tying it. How about 1 swing away from taking the lead? Clear the bases on a double. Go ahead by 1 run. Great work and great showing by the Saints offense. They were down at one point. It's an 8-1 ball game. Getting out hit by 7 hits. Now Saints have come all the way back. Now leading the Foresters by 1, out hitting them by 2. Great work, and I mean, we've seen this out of the Saints offense all season long. You know, the minimum that the Saints have scored in a game is 8 runs. Just really offensively strong so far.
Yeah, just taking advantage of pitching, too, that has been giving them mistakes, and they've been taking advantages of it. I mean, like, look, didn't have a lot of hits to start the game, obviously, with the Foresters jumping out ahead, but they're in the double digits in that category. 10 hits now on the game, 9 runs. And while it is true that the Saints have had 4 errors defensively, hey, they haven't let it affect them.
Foresters got up 1-0 in the first, up 3-0 in the second. Saints would get 1 back in the third to make it 3-1. First pitch now to Jack Little. He goes around on a check swing, strike 1. Saints were up Saints were behind 3-1 in the third. Then in the top of the fourth, Foresters go ahead 8-1. Saints come back, make it 8-4. And then 1 in the fifth and 4 now in the sixth. And potentially now 7. Ground ball up the middle for a base hit, and it will be 7. And advancing up to second is Jack Little. Great base running there to take an extra 90 feet. Saints now ahead 10-8.
And they're just making it happen. I mean, continuing the hit parade. That's hit number 11 on the night. And look, Little's had a pretty good line today. Had that walk back in the second, along with that single back in the fifth, and now continuing to get on the board. And that one was hit hard off the bat.
107 miles an hour. And, you know, all night long, we have been fed statistics from our data interns. That's Jay and Luke. Quick shout out to them for, you know, helping us out throughout our broadcast. And really just a big shout out to all of our Arroyo Seco Saints interns who have been helping us out, you know, on every facet of the baseball operations side of things, the behind the scenes, off the field type of things that's been going on at the Arroyo Seco Saints. Big shout out to all of our interns. But now a quick timeout by the catcher. He's going to go out and talk with his pitcher. It's now Gannon Snyder for the Saints. Still a runner in scoring position on second base with 1 out.
Yeah, that's Grant Madrid Murray, the catcher for the Foresters, going out to talk to his pitcher, Tag Andrews, who started off pretty strong in this outing. I mean, look, his first batter, he struck out, but then since then, the Saints have consistently been willing to take advantage of some of these mistakes. I mean, Jack Little, a perfect example of that, but Jacob Freer, I mean, talk about that. Triple to left center field to the gap, and they have been capitalizing on some mistakes, certainly on off-speed pitches that Andrews has left in the middle of the zone.
Saints already have scored 5 runs here in the bottom of the 6th to match the Foresters' top of the 4th. They also scored 5 runs in that one, but Saints getting the lead for the first time in this game as well. That one, again, fouled straight back at us. You mentioned Sid. A bunch of people getting hit, a couple other people almost getting hit, and that now tallies us down for 2 now with foul balls that have come straight back at us. Without this fence, that would have hit us.
I mean, hey, I'd prefer not to have pain tonight, and it's getting cold, so I don't want to have a little raisin on me.
No doubt.
Feeling that pain. No thank
doubt.
you.
Absolutely not. Thankful for the fence in front of us. Gannon Snyder almost just got hit by that pitch. Breaking ball that ran up and buzzed his tower a little bit. 2-1 now with 1 out. Still a runner in scoring position. Back to the breaker goes Tag Andrews, but low and outside and missing for a ball to make it 3-1.
Yeah, just another at-bat by the Saints where they have consistently just waited for Andrews to come back into the zone. And so several counts here where they've gotten to that 3-ball scenario.
3-1 pitch. Breaker in there for a strike. Fills up the count. Snyder now with the opportunity for a walk or a knock. Knock potentially scoring another run. Walk putting 2 base runners on. Payoff pitch lined up the middle and down for a base hit. Wave is going to be on. Throw coming in. Play at the plate, but sliding in safely is Jack Little with an off-line throw from Mandino in center field. Gannon Snyder, RBI single, advances the Saints lead up to 3.
Another well-hit ball to center field. And that's double-digit runs, of course, even before that. But, I mean, just the fact that the Saints have come back and have scored 6 runs in this inning. I mean, that's 10 runs in the last 3 half innings for the Saints. And that's a mound visit here coming from the Foresters' dugout. Their head coach coming out, and that's likely going to be it.
Yeah, that'll be the end of Tag Andrews' day. But one more thought before we go to break. That's now, if math serves me correctly, 46 total runs that the Saints have put up in their 4 games thus far. Foresters go to the pen. We will take a quick break from here in Pasadena. Foresters have lost the lead this inning and looking to stop the bleeding and prevent any more damage. It's going to be Tyler Fee now, the Minnesota native, going to Texas Christian University.
Yeah, and as a freshman, look, he only had 1 appearance in his first season on campus where he struck out 1 in a scoreless inning against Kansas State, but that was at Globe Life Field, home of the Rangers. So that's a pretty cool way to, you know, make your appearance certainly at the college level and certainly at a program like TCU. But he was a pretty accomplished high school pitcher. He was the #4 right-handed pitcher and the number 8 overall prospect in the state of Minnesota by perfect game. So certainly someone with some pedigree, certainly here to work on some things to take back to TCU next season.
Fino squaring off against Levi Medella, who steps up with a 1 out and a runner on first base. Fino also listed at 6'6", 205 pounds, but that 6'6" lists him as the tallest guy on the Foresters roster. A couple of guys slotted in there at 6'5", but Fino stands alone at the 6'6" mark. First pitch to Medella is outside and misses for ball 1. This one grounded to the 3-4 hole, fielded by the first baseman Hoover. He flips to second, gets the fielder's choice, but Medella is going to leg out first base. So a fielder's choice now. Keeps the runner on first base, but adds an extra out.
And as part of this 6-run inning now, with Noah Williams coming up, the Saints will have batted around. Back to that 9th spot, and Noah Williams started it off with that single, and he ended up scoring.
Saints now going through the full 9. First pitch, fouled straight back. Noah Williams awaits a long hold. Throw in there, shallow right field, and a sliding play by Kill out and right. Makes the grab, secures the 3rd out of the inning, but the damage is done. Saints now leading 11-8 as we head to the 7th.
Coming in this game, he has a 400 on-base percentage. He's going to get up with the 2 hits he has. He lines one.
That one's belted to right field, and that one is gone. How about Josh Livingston getting things started here for the Saints? He ropes a home run right over the right field. Jake Brown looking up. That one is gone. An opposite field home run. Alex Burge.
First pickles, then Oppo tacos. How about that for Alex Burge? Hit the home run to right. He was like, nah. I'm going to hit one to left now. How about a 3-run blast for the backstop?
Booms that one to right field. Matthew Thomas will just have to look back. That one is gone. Welcome to the game, Colton Dahl. Jacob Shart with a 3-run home run, the second 3-run home run of the game, and the lead continues to balloon. It's 9-1.
I mean, off the bat.
Saints now leading for the first time in this ball game. It's 11-8 heading into the 7th frame. New arm on the mound for the Saints. It's Daniel Tovar. He's facing off against Easton Ruley, Grant Madrid Murray, and Brady Dollamore, the bottom third of the Foresters' order. First pitch in there for a called strike. Second pitch now to Ruley. Runs above the letters. Tovar had an inning pitched a couple days ago on Friday on opening night. He had 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run. No walks, no strikeouts. As this one buzzes the tower of Ruley after earlier in this game he has already been hit in the face.
I mean, talk about a reminder. You don't want that. And he's taking a couple of extra steps here out of the batter's box just to give some pause there. And it looks like the umpire actually might have given a warning to the Saints dugout, or potentially to Tovar on the mound.
I mean, 3 batters already in this game being hit in the helmet, face, neck, head area. And looks like home plate umpires just about had enough. Issues a warning. If he sees it again, likely we might see another player ejected. We saw 1 thrown out when Ruley was initially hit in the head. Looks like some chirping from the dugout, and first base umpire threw a Forester out of this game. But now a warning issued. Looks like no more messing around. Pitcher's going to have to really dial back into the zone. This one high and outside.
Now, Tovar pretty good with that fastball and overhand release, so he's got good velocity on it. Not the tallest guy, 5'11", 205. Local guy out of Encino.
3-1, swung on. Fly ball heading towards the Foresters' bullpen. Now full count.
And currently Tovar playing at Nevada, but actually transferred from LA Valley College by way of Crespi High School.
Full count delivery. Jam shot in on the hands, but it's going to fall in the infield, and Lopez will not have time to pick it up and fire a strike over to Medella. It's an infield single for Easton Ruley.
And Ruley just continuing to hustle out there. You saw him right out of the box, head down, sprinting towards first base. And Lopez, the second baseman for the Saints, got to this ball a little bit slowly, and it kind of just died on the grass. As it's getting a little bit cold, the grass is getting a little bit softer, perhaps a little bit of moisture. So no bounce, and that's an infield single.
We've got some firewood in the park as well. That one broke the bat of Ruley. And just out of the reach of Tovar on the mound. High fly ball into left field. Going back on it is Snyder, and able to track it down for the first out of the inning.
I mean, he missed a home run there by a matter of a couple of degrees of launch angle. That ball might have been one of the hardest hit balls we've seen tonight. But definitely not getting any favors from the wind, which is pretty calm at the moment. And certainly temperatures now have dipped to maybe low 60s. We're at 64 degrees at the moment. So no dice, no help from the weather.
But the first out of the inning. Tovar now potentially a ground ball away from getting out of it. Fills up the zone with the first one. Brady Dollamore now steps up.
Dollamore had that single back in the first where he singled over to left field.
0-1. This one a drive into left field. Going back but tailing just foul and out of play.
That was another well-hit ball, perhaps even better hit than the one that Grant Madrid Murray, the previous hitter and the catcher for the Foresters, just swung at. I mean, It didn't look like this one got over the fence, but maybe one-hopped it. But absolutely smoked off the bat.
It was definitely well struck and just hooked foul. Definitely would have been extra bases, though, had it landed fair. Runner goes, throw down, and it's going to spike Tovar. The throw down, and that is another person that's been hit in the head this ball game.
Is that the fourth one now?
I do believe so. 3 of which being batters.
And now the pitcher.
This one now, the pitcher.
I don't know what's going on in this game, but this game might be cursed.
I mean, I'm kind of a bit speechless. Like I'm not sure what to say. I'm speechless. Like I've never seen this really before. 4 players now being hit in the head by baseballs here in this ballgame.
And the fact that the trainer has had to come out 4 different times into this game. Again, to your point, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. But it's one thing to have, for example, Easton Ruley got hit in the bill of his helmet. Stuff like that, you can imagine, certainly warnings to the dugout, but let alone in a summer game to have a warning thrown by an umpire to an entire team. And now just got donked right in the back of his head by a pretty strong throw by the catcher there. And that's where we're at.
And Kennett, I mean, he's been pretty strong behind the dish. We've seen him throw out a handful of runners. He's got a good arm back there. This one maybe just cut off the throw a little bit too much and just too low of a launch angle. Tovar ducked and turned his head to look at the throw down to second and just hit him right in the back of it. And, you know, it's a dangerous spot to be hit, especially without protection. So he's going to take a moment to regather himself. We'll head to a quick break from here in Pasadena. We are back. Daniel Tovar is going to stay in this game after being hit in the back of the head by a throw from the catcher J.J. Kennett. He seems to be okay through a couple of warm-up pitches and is now back on the mound, ready to deal to Brady Dollamore. Currently it's a 1-2 count. He's going to go to a slider. Tried to go low and away, but just too far low and away, and it's ball 2.
And it feels like so much has happened in this game. Of course, 19 runs have come across the plate, and 4 heads have been hit today in this game.
I mean, it's been very interesting, to say the least. 2-2 pitch. Just misses the low outside corner. It's going to fill up the count, 3-2. I mean, 19 runs in this game. We've had 21 hits. We've had 5 errors. We've had 4 heads get hit. It's been a very action-filled, and I don't want to say entertaining because that kind of gives off the wrong connotation, but interesting game as the full count delivery is skied foul and out of play.
Almost hit a fan in the stands. Luckily, their heads are okay.
We've now officially passed the 3-hour and 10-minute mark for this ball game. Started at a 6:19 first pitch. It's now 9:29 here in Pasadena. We've had a handful of stoppages. This one's grounded over to short, but cut off by Freer. Throw over to first in time to get Dollamore for the second out of the inning. But moving up 90 feet is Easton Ruley up to third.
And look, it gets the job done. A 5-3 put out there. So good job by the Saints to get out number 2 in the inning. But, I mean, look, like they just, I feel like runs have not come at a premium. Again, there have been 8 runs scored in this game, but the Foresters have not scored in 2 half innings. So, or in 2 innings rather. So they would love to get one more here and make this a 2-run game.
1 in the first, 2 in the second, none in the third, then 5 in the fourth for the Foresters. And it's been zeros since then, but now with a runner 90 feet away and 2 outs, lies in the hands of the leadoff man, Maddox Mandino. One-oh just misses. No count, 2 outs. Maddox Mandino currently 0 for 4 on the day so far. Back in there for a strike is Tovar. Two and 1. Fastball, broken bat. Over to Freer at third, fires across to first, in time to get the speedy Mandino. Now will end the inning. Saints still leading by 3 as we'll take a break and stretch it out from here at Jackie Robinson Memorial Field. Bottom of the 7th. It's the top of the Saints order. It's Eli Lopez, Trotter Enright, and Joey Milto. Now joining us, special guest interview, Saints pitcher Mason McDonald. Mason, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Hold on 1 second. Let's see. Try that again. 1 second for me.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I think we're good.
All right, cool.
Sorry. A little bit of technical difficulties here. Mason, thank you for joining us. And, you know, a couple nights ago, you had a really strong outing against the Philippines. Went 2 extremely clean innings. Closed that game out for the Saints. 2 innings, no runs, no hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Man, that was impressive. How'd you feel up there on the mound?
I mean, I felt good. It's my first outing in a while. Adrenaline is definitely going a good amount, and I was able to, wow. I mean, it's been crazy.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's been an insane game. Eli Lopez almost now wears one off the helmet. He ducks out of the way. And I mean, it's been quite the curse night, if you will, here in Pasadena. This one misses low and outside, 3-0 count. Now, Mason, you know, that was kind of your summer season debut, if you will, and it was a really strong one. You know, what are you looking forward to in improving upon sort of for the rest of the summer?
I mean, I don't know if I can improve upon much. If anything, I'd like to carry over that momentum into my next outing. Obviously, establishing a couple more off-speed pitches in the zone. I think I was kind of getting ahead and with the fastball, and I'd like to, you know, mix it up a little bit, show some other pitches.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, so you talk about here with, you know, coming into this summer season, obviously you're at Cal State San Marcos and just kind of making that like transition here to summer ball. And what was sort of like your feeling as you ended the season, and what was like maybe your focus coming into the summertime? Was there a specific pitch you wanted to work on? Was there a specific situation you wanted to improve on? Tell me about your thought process.
Yeah, so I really wanted the in-game experience. Like many of our guys, I'm in the transfer portal. I was fortunate enough to get that junior college waiver to get another year back of eligibility. However, it's only you can only use it for Division I, so I couldn't go back to San Marcos even if I wanted to. So I just wanted to get that in-game experience, kind of get myself back out there for the recruiting stuff and just, you know, attack with the fastball. I think that's what I did. But like I mentioned earlier, just being able to show an off-speed pitch just to get back to like using my fastballs.
Yeah, and I guess like as you kind of think about your goals in baseball, certainly continuing, obviously you're in the transfer portal now and you want to obviously find a new program to call home. What does that look like to be in the transfer portal as a player? Like, what does that look like on a day-to-day basis? Are you kind of in contact with a lot of programs at the moment? Like, how does that look from the perspective of a student athlete?
Yeah, so it's definitely interesting. I mean, playing here is like a huge help, being able to have the exposure. Coaches come out and watch these games all the time. And then obviously the connections that Coach Milam and the staff have are pretty valuable. That's kind of one of the reasons why I chose to play here. I mean, he's helped me, even with the last outing, come in contact with a coach, and other things like Twitter, super popular for getting yourself back out there. I know a lot of guys utilize that. I'm probably going to try to get on that. I've never done it before, so it's a little intimidating, but just kind of posting yourself, showcasing like what you have is definitely helpful.
Right, you know, you enter that portal, you kind of have to become your own best salesman. You know, you got to do all the work yourself, if you will. Catching you up on the action here. It was Eli Lopez. He was 4-pitch walked. Trotter Enright now in a 1-1 count as he awaits the next pitch from Fino. That one's going to be inside and misses for ball 2. Now, you know, Mason, as a pitcher up on the mound, you know, a couple nights ago we had another Saints pitcher in Tyler Herges come out here, and, you know, we kind of had a conversation of the pitcher sort of catcher connection that you sort of come to build. You know, how quickly, obviously we've only been through 4 games here, as Eli Lopez is going to safely cruise into second base with a stolen base. but how quickly, can you manufacture sort of that pitcher-catcher relationship?
Yeah, I think that's really important, especially like in summer ball. Like I'm seeing these guys for the first time; they're catching me for the first time. I think like we were able to get a bullpen in. Johnny caught me on Sunday. That was the first time that we've thrown together. So I think it takes a little while. He was able to kind of pick up pretty quickly that I was able to get ahead with the fastball, and he called a good game. I think that sort of thing is like a relationship that builds over a couple games. In season, you're fortunate enough at your college that you've been playing with these guys for a year, so that relationship is pretty solid there. Summer ball is a little different. It's got to happen a lot quicker.
Right. Full pitch runs inside to Enright. It's now Enright rather. That's rather. Excuse me. Enright, and now that is 2 back-to-back walks. 2 Saints aboard. It's Joey Milto now stepping up.
Yeah, and I think also, given that you were at San Marcos this past season, you're not too far away from, the digs here in Southern California, staying in Pasadena, of course. What's it been like staying, with your fellow teammates, in the dorms where you're staying at? Like, what's been the sort of the vibe the first few weeks, just kind of getting to know everybody in the clubhouse and certainly just as teammates in general?
It's good. It's definitely a little bit of a shock when you come the first day and there's 35 new faces that you haven't seen. So a lot of people get try to find mutuals and establish just like relationships they have with other teammates and guys they played with that each other might know. And then like being here, and I'm from Southern California, so I know that it's always going to be nice out, and it's actually gotten a little bit colder than I thought down here. I guess
a little bit.
A little in the valley, gets cold early.
Yeah, no, temperatures are like really have changed here. Like I work for UCLA broadcasting, and it's pretty like customary where you come in, you're like, oh my God, it's going to be a nice afternoon day in Los Angeles, and by the time it gets to nighttime, you're in the 60s and you need your jacket as soon as possible. And certainly I do at the moment.
I know, we're very privileged to call 63 degrees cold.
It's a good point.
It's a great point. A lot of guys don't even get so much of their college season because of that, winter or season rather, preseason, because of the, those winter chills where it snows all over their field, and it's a privilege here in California to be able to kind of play the sport of baseball year round. Joey Milto now way ahead. Not way ahead, but ahead, 2-1, 2 runners still on base. Mason, before you were at San Marcos, you were at CSU Bakersfield, and I've been looking at your numbers from at Bakersfield versus this last year at San Marcos, and you've improved upon your numbers a significant amount. Now going into next year, obviously you're in the portal, you're looking for a new home, but how significantly are you looking to improve upon your numbers from last year?
Yeah, so I think from year to year I've gotten better, a lot more confident. I think that Cal State, San Marcos is Division II, and we played against Division I opponents at Bakersfield, but that California D2 conference, I mean, those guys can hit. So there's nothing against the hitters for sure. I think that it's almost just as difficult at times to pitch in that conference. So I mean, I'm just looking to get ahead for sure with fastballs. I think that I've learned the last year that I can use that as an out pitch and just attack in the zone and kind of cut down on the walks. That's the main thing, is like when I get ahead, I know I'm going to do well.
Full count pitch fouled out of play by Milto. Still a 3-2 count with nobody out, 2 runners on base.
And like you've talked about, the fact that you're a Southern California kid, born and raised, and you've stayed pretty close to home, considering the schools that you've played at, Bakersfield and of course San Marcos, and kind of looking ahead as you're in the transfer portal. Of course, we'll see how that plays out, and we'll see obviously where you end up, and of course we're excited to learn that. But do you have any preference about like perhaps region-wise? Do you want to stay on the West Coast? Do you want to stay in Southern California? Are you kind of open to any opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to pretty much anything. I love Southern California. I mean, you can't beat it. Like you mentioned earlier, is like we're losing part of their season in other parts of the country to snow and bad weather, and that just doesn't happen here. So I mean, I'm open to anything. I think that can't be picky when you're in my situation. I'm going to continue to play as best as I can and see if I can end up somewhere, good.
Joey Milto goes down staring. It's now J.J. Kennett, the backstop. And, Sid, I was just about to ask that same question about, do you prefer to stay in California? But, it is sort of tough, kind of, I would imagine, Mason, being sort of in that unknown of you're not sure where you're really going to end up. What would you say is kind of the biggest struggle of being in that unknown?
Well, it's just like the opportunities that come up. I mean, you're going to talk to coaches, but not everybody's going to offer. You're looking for a certain thing for yourself that maybe certain programs aren't going to be able to provide you. That's academics. For me, I'm in a little bit of a weird situation, considering I transferred twice in the 4-year colleges, so I'm not quite graduated. I would have loved to have gotten my bachelor's before this year, so that might throw a little bit of a wrench into it, but yeah.
Pitch in the dirt, gets Lopez over to third. Enright still on first base, and J.J. Kennett wears one in off the forearm wrist area, and my goodness, have we seen some hit-by pitches tonight.
I mean, I think, what is that, the 4th one of the night? The 5th one of the night? I think it's the 4th one of the night. But that one just got him on his elbow guard there, and just a fastball that got away from him on the mound.
Now the Forsters are going to have a quick mound meeting. That is the Forsters manager, which is the likely sign that they might head to the pen and bring an end to Tyler Fano's day. And they will go to the pen. That will end his day. And Mason, we will let you go. But before we do so, you're obviously a college baseball player. Any picks to win the College World Series this year?
Oh, I'm rooting for my boys at Coastal Carolina. Yeah, I got a teammate I played there with my freshman year. It's a pitcher there, so
sounds
I
good.
go with them.
Mason's on board for the Coastal Carolina squad this year. Mason, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck to you and your future endeavors. We will head to a quick break while the new reliever warms up. Foresters go into the pen. They go to number 43, Darren Orlando, right-hander out of Santa Barbara City College. We have just received word that here at Jackie Robinson Memorial Field, the lights will go out at 10 o'clock. That is T-minus 11 minutes or so. Once those lights do go out, we will have a postponement of the remainder of the game. This half inning currently standing, we believe, will not count, and the game will resume the next time these two teams will square off. They will finish the remainder of this game at the score they are currently at, and then, you know, a handful of minutes later, we'll start the second game and the game originally scheduled for that day. One and two count. Now to Jacob Freer. This one's lined down the right field line, in there for a base hit. One run scores, and the stop sign is on after that. Jacob Freer, RBI single, increases the Saints' lead 12-8 now and loads the bases with one out.
I mean, it's a good piece of hitting. I mean, he started off this game with those 2 strikeouts back in the second and the third, and in fact, one more in the fifth. But, hey, since the 6th inning on, those last 2 at-bats, he's hit the ball well. Had a double in the 6th, and had that nice single down the right field line here in this inning.
So now it is Jack Little, designated hitter, bases loaded, just one out. First pitch, high and inside. And as we near the end of this game, it's kind of interesting to see the way this game is unfolded. Forester started strong. They got 1 in the first, 2 in the second, and then 5 in the fourth. Since then have been held silent, as the 1-0 is in there for a strike. The Saints, on the other hand, first and second, they put up goose eggs. Then the third, they put up 1, fourth, 3, fifth, 1, sixth, 6, and now here in the 7th, they have already put up 1 and are looking to extend upon that. Breaker in there for a called strike. One point in this game, Forester's leading the Saints. They had 8 runs on 8 hits. Saints at the time only had 1 run on 1 hit. Now looking across the line, 8 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Foresters versus 12 runs, 13 hits, and 4 errors for the Saints. Despite those 4 defensive miscues, though, Saints have made the best of their offense. 2-2 count now.
And it looks like someone might have just gotten thrown out of the Saints dugout. Home plate umpire having some choice words here with that dugout, and looks like it actually might be one of the coaches here for the Saints who is on the dugout railing. And I don't know if I've seen a game that has been as weird as this one.
I mean, that is the perfect way to describe it. Weird.
Like,
I mean,
what is going on?
We've had warnings. We've had now 2 ejections. We've had 3 or 4, people get hit in the head by a flying baseball. I mean, this game has just been all sorts of whack, and we are closing in. We have probably less than 10 minutes of this ball game remaining, and it's just unfolded in the most unforeseen circumstances.
I mean, yeah, we've got 7 minutes left. There have been, 20 runs scored in this game? So not, at a loss for offense, certainly. But there have been so many stoppages in this game. Just to consider, we're still in the bottom of the 7th. So we started this game right around 6 p.m. This would be a 4-hour game at the conclusion, of course, since the lights will turn off here at 10 p.m. But overall, what a strange one.
I mean, this game so far has been 3 hours and 35 minutes since first pitch, and we are still in the bottom of the 7th. Still have 2 full frames to play after these 2 outs are recorded by the Foresters. We will not even get close to finishing this game properly, as we have the 10 p.m. time limit. Lights will go off and cannot really be turned back on. But a 2-2 count now to Jack Little, designated hitter. He's 2 for 3 on the night so far tonight. Swung on and missed. Back into the mitt of Madrid Murray for the strikeout. Now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th.
And a good job of getting back into the count. I mean, look, it's been a weird night, but he's kind of been trying to bear down here on the mound. Runner in scoring position, and it's a big second out.
And now it looks like umpires having a bit of words with maybe the third base coach, trying to handle something in the Saints dugout. You know, I've seen some weird baseball games in my time, both as a player and recently as a broadcaster. This one definitely nearing the top. Gannon Snyder now, 2 outs, bases loaded. First pitch, I mean, upstairs, but called strike nonetheless. Maybe just caught the very top of the zone.
And the Saints dugout, they are making themselves heard. I mean, look, I'm partially just here for the drama at this point.
0-1 pitch. That one way low and outside. One and one count, 2 outs. Gannon Snyder. That one runs high, brings it to 2-1.
And a little bit of life happening back in that Saints dugout. Any time a pitch is getting up and in, they're starting to make their voices heard.
Two 2-1 count downstairs. Ball 3.
Now, I've never played baseball before, either in my playing career or in broadcasting with a time clock, but we do have 3 minutes left on the clock.
I've only seen one before, and that was when a team had to catch a flight on a Sunday after a 3-game set in college ball. Check swing, foul ball.
And of course, this has to come down to a full count. 3-2, 2 outs, bases loaded, the lights on the line.
The most exciting play in all of baseball. It's bases loaded, 2 outs, full count, with the 2-minute warning now set in place. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Saints strike for 1 in the bottom of the 7th, take a 12-8 lead, and we are unsure if this game is still going to continue, so we will take a quick couple seconds to figure it out. And it looks like the game, for now at least, is going to be held here. Currently 2 minutes away from the lights turning out. Saints currently leading 12-8. And the next time these two teams face off against each other, looks like we will have 2 innings left to play. And then they will continue with their regularly scheduled game. But for tonight, that will do it from here in Pasadena. We do not have a conclusion of this game just yet, but we will the next time these two teams meet. On behalf of everybody here at Arroyo Seco Baseball, thank you so much for tuning in to this very exciting and interesting and long broadcast. And on behalf of our producer and director, Gio Camara, my broadcast partner, Sid Iyer. I am Riley Horn signing off, wishing you a wonderful remainder of your evening.